2, 2, 3, 1. two, rebut.
Tim and Jonathan, legends of the game. Fixing cabinets, bringing back the fame. Joysticks smooth, buttons never lame. Arcade revival, making classics acclaim. Pixel by pixel, we resurrect. Old school vibes, nothing we neglect. From Pac-Man mazes to Donkey Kong's trek. Tim and John, arcade repair tips, respect.
Broadcasting from their world headquarters in Texas, it's the Arcade Repair Tips Live Show. The show that discusses arcade repair, restoration, news, and more. Now, here are your hosts, Tim and Jonathan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 97 of the Arcade Repair Tips Live Show for March 2025. My name is Jonathan. I'm the producer, director, and editor here at the Arcade Repair Tips video series. And joining me today, as always, is Mr. Arcade Repair Tips himself, Tim Pearson. Tim, what do you think about that intro?
I liked it. What we're interested in, more importantly, is what did you think about it? We thought we would try mixing it up a little bit today and having some fun. Anyway, good job, Jonathan. That was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, so I obviously gave a little bit of a swerve there. I started off with the first one, and then we kind of went into the new one. I don't know if we're going to use that permanently, Tim, but I like it. Yeah. And that's actually created by AI, believe it or not. So, but I think it encapsulates what we do here, right?
Somewhat.
So there you go. Well, we hope that you guys are doing well this evening, and we're glad that you're joining us tonight for the live show. Of course, we will be answering your arcade repair questions as we get through the show. But before we get into all that, Tim, I do want to throw it over to the live chat real quick.
Okay.
And we have Nate here. He says, wow, almost to 100. Think I joined around 20-ish. Congratulations, you guys love the show. Yes, we're getting close to 100.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later in the show. But if you want to leave any messages or text congratulating us on 100 shows, you can do that. We'll talk about it later in the show. Let's see. Nate also recognized the new song. So there you go. Let's see. Dragon Punch Davis here. Happy Thursday, Tim, Jonathan, and everyone. So there we go. Real Hammer Billy Lee is here. He says, hey guys, love that intro. I'm glad you do. So, like I said, so we kind of, like I said, I swerved you a bit. Starts off with the classic intro and then kind of gets into the new one. Like I said, maybe we'll change it up next month.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's nice to just change things up from time to time, especially when you've been doing this for 97 episodes. So there we go. But anyway, guys, we hope you're all doing well this evening. Like I said before, Tim, how are you doing? Maybe I should get to that. We should mention that we are celebrating Tim's birthday tonight.
Yeah.
Technically, your birthday's on the 2nd.
Does it? Yeah.
But
pretty
close.
close.
I
birthday
you,
month.
Yeah, I was about to say I messaged you on your birthday, but we always kind of celebrate here on the live show. So I have a nice present over here, and don't worry, guys. I remember the birthday hat.
Oh.
So we got that as well, and so we'll get to that here after the questions. But besides being your birthday month and celebrating your birthday, how are you doing today?
Well, Jonathan, as you know, I'm sorry to whoever was the champion, but I have a new title.
Okay.
And might show off my shirt here. I am now the best pop in the galaxy.
That's right. So last time we saw you, you weren't a grandfather.
Right.
And now you are.
I am a grandfather now. Thank you. Had a beautiful granddaughter born on February 19th, 6 pounds, 6 ounces. She's a tiny little thing, 19 inches long, and mom and baby are doing just fine. Honey is my wife's grandma name. You know, today you can't be grandma and grandpa anymore, right? So we are Honey and Pop.
Oh, okay.
And so Honey and I have, I kind of told you some extenuating circumstances. Everybody's at our house, and I am getting plenty of chances to change diapers, set up, rock, hold, all that good stuff some of you parents out there are familiar with. I'm a little sleepy tonight, but we're here to have a good time, and I'm glad to kind of get a break.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing.
It's kind of been nice to get away for a little bit.
So here's the thing, too, Tim, is we actually have a little bit less questions than we normally do, which means we're going to be having a little bit more fun.
Yeah,
which is always, but I mean, we have fun with questions, too, don't we? I mean, for sure. But it's just we didn't have as many come in this month, so we're going to use that time to fill with some other things. So we'll talk about that here in a bit. Let's see who else is here. Joe says, 99th episode, Tim throws a dart at the map. 100th episode, we will all meet there. I don't know about that,
great.
YouTube Punk is here. He says, howdy. So, now, we did have a new intro at the beginning of the show. I do have the whole song. There's a whole song that was made. And maybe we'll play that in the after show. That seems like something.
Yeah, if you want to hear it.
If you want to hear the whole new song, we'll play the new song.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a rap.
It's kind of catchy.
You know, I think it works out for us. So anyway. If Tim dozes off, all is forgiven, YouTube Punk says.
Yes.
So, I don't think we'll have to worry about him dozing off. We have better lighting now. Before we've been using kind of like just like a little LED star looking thing.
Yeah,
now we actually have like lighting, so which is good. And I fixed all the lights in the game room, so we should have better lighting. Hopefully you guys can see us better than you usually do. So, but I think everything else is good here. We're caught up on the live chat. We talked to you, Tim. Should we move into questions?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Okay, so our first question this month comes from Michael O'Connor, F9P, Tim.
Okay.
And he writes, I have a Miss Pac-Man game. When I plug it in, it makes a loud buzzing sound. No picture or any other signs of life. Any advice would be appreciated. So, Tim, this is a pretty simple question. This was from YouTube. And so basically, in Miss Pac-Man, I plug it in. All I get is this loud buzzing sound. I get no picture, no signs of life. What do you think is going on with Michael O'Connor's Miss Pac-Man?
Well, it's pretty interesting because, one of the questions we ask people a lot, is it playing blind? Doesn't sound like that. It doesn't sound, even sometimes if it's just a power supply or something, you'll still get some marquee lights or something. He's saying no signs of life. So I guess my first question would be, well, where's the sound coming from? Is it actually coming through the speakers, or is the sound inside the back of the game? A lot of times when parts are failing, like a power supply or something, they will make a hum, or that's all they're doing. They're not really producing power, but they're kind of just humming along. So we always say here, always start at power, right?
Yep.
So I would look in, find out where that hum is. From the speakers, that means something's going on probably with the board. There's a board issue, something like that. If we're not hearing anything from the speakers, but we're hearing the hum, it could be it could still be a word issue, but if it's coming from the power supply in that area, probably a bad power supply. So sometimes, when we talk about becoming an arcade technician, we've said this many times, you learn to listen and smell and stuff like that. It's not always your knowledge, but sometimes it's common sense. Like where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Mm-hmm. And so we want to locate, where is this hum coming from? And I think that will help. If it's coming from the monitor, then it could be a monitor problem, right? But more than likely, just by what they're saying, I've had to guess, I'd probably say you're not getting any lights or anything. Could be some kind of power issue. So we're just, we have plenty of videos on that and stuff, but start at the wall and go from there, and make sure that you're getting power to everywhere. We do know that they're notorious for having kind of a hum problem. Check your fuses, check stuff like that. But if he's not getting any signs of life at all, that's where I'm still leading back to, although it could be a board issue.
Sounds good. So hopefully that answers Michael O'Connor's question. I'm going to go ahead and put the slide up here so we can kind of talk about it a little bit more here, Tim. So here we go. Let's start off this repair by trying to pinpoint where the loud buzzing sound is coming from. If it's coming from the power supply, you might try replacing it or installing a switching power supply, of course. If it's coming from the monitor, you can determine what parts, perhaps it's a capacitor or the flyback, and replace them. If it's coming from the speaker, like Tim mentioned, you may have a problem with the game board. You could try unplugging the game board and see if the issue continues. If not, then it is probably the game board. And Tim, you can try the 6 megahertz clock signal can sometimes cause that issue, along with the sound amp, and the sound EEPROMs could be that as well. And so I have some parts listed here, Michael, that you can look at. The 6 megahertz clock is powered by 8A, 8B, and 8C, which is the picture I have here. The sound amp's usually found at 11A, or the sound proms are found at 1M and 3M. And Tim, Miss Pac-Man or Pac-Man boards follow the row column. They have all the rows and the columns by letters and numbers. And so when we're using that terminology, we're saying, we're saying the row and column basically of where you can find those parts. Tim, anything else from Michael before we move on?
Yeah, if I had to guess, if he's saying hum, we've seen this plenty of times before. You kind of get that feedback. It's kind of like when they're doing a sound check at a concert or something. You get that squeal of feedback or loud hum. Most of the time, it's a board issue in this situation, but not necessarily. So let us know if you need any more help with that.
Sounds good. So, Michael, hopefully answered your question, and good luck getting your Miss Pac-Man board back up and running, or your cabinet in general, in case it's something besides that game board. Tim, I'm coming back over to the live chat, and we have Big D Retro here, late to the party, but made it! You did, and you have a question tonight that's coming up here in a bit. So, but I think everything else is caught up on the live chat, Tim. So,
okay.
We're really close to 100. We're 97 tonight.
We're getting it's seeming real. It's getting real, right?
2 more episodes before 100, right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
So 2 more months basically. So what? April, May, June. June, we're gonna be there.
June. Wow.
Okay. May is our official anniversary. May of 2008 is like when we started everything. So maybe it's fitting that June would be number 100. It's kind of like the turnover. So yeah, but let's see. 2008 would be, what's that going to be, Tim? That's going to be our 18th, 18th anniversary, something like that.
Something like that. I don't know.
Goodness. Long time. So
Yeah.
there you go. But we hope that you guys will stay tuned for what's coming up. So, and we may have some surprises here and there.
Maybe so.
Like a new intro song.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim. Well, let us continue on with some more questions. And this next one is from John Q. And so let's see what John Q has for us here, Tim. They say, good evening. I stumbled on your YouTube videos and I was hoping maybe you would give me some advice if you have a minute. I purchased an original Golden Axe arcade machine about 15 years ago, and it has been working flawlessly until the other day. I turned it on, and during the power-up, the game freezes hard locks on the initial splash screen, when the title screen and the title music would usually come up. I turned it off and turned it back on, and it went into test mode, which we'd recommend, Tim. All tests pass with flying colors, but when I exit the menu, the game hard locks at the title screen right before the music starts, not always at the exact same spot, but always within 1 to 2 seconds of the title screen animation and always before the title music can be heard. The power supply tested good. I did just buy and install a brand new one, but the results are the same. I wonder if there's potentially a corrupt ROM-RAM issue that I cannot fix. Thank you for your time to read, and I would appreciate any suggestions on what to do next. Thanks, John Q. No thanks. I threw that in there.
Okay.
So, Tim, we have John Q here, and a Golden Axe that hard freezes basically like right before the title screen every single time. So he will boot that sucker up. It's like it's going to come up and then freeze, right?
Yes.
So, so what can John Q do in order to get his Golden Axe back up and running?
Well, first of all, let me say, John, if you're not in the live chat, please come and join because I think you could answer some questions tonight.
Sure.
You've done a great job of what we would say in troubleshooting. You really did just about everything that you could do. So good job there. We really would say he broke it down so easy that it almost has to be a board issue. Right. It just almost has to be because in the fact that. So you got to think about it. John, you could probably explain it better coming from your knowledge of stuff. But we're right at a point where the game processors are really cranking and starting to show, and it's fixing to show a lot of graphics and stuff. This is where it's failing. Right. So something is going on with that. Now, I'd probably be more like Forrest Gump. I'm not a smart man, but I know that, there's chips and stuff that would be causing this issue. So I'll let you take it over from here because it's probably something with his board that he needs to get looked at. And we got some tips and stuff that we can help you with that.
Now, I should say this, Tim, just like CPS games, so the Capcom Power System.
Yes.
So it's like those games, System 16 boards can suicide as well.
Okay.
And so it almost sounds like that's what's happening here.
Right.
Like maybe his board is suicided.
Right.
Okay, so on the board, Tim, the main processor is the 68000 processor.
Okay.
Okay. And they came in 2 different flavors, Hitachi and I think Toshiba.
Okay.
But the processor was married with a battery chip on the board that held an encryption key, and the ROMs are encrypted. This is very similar to CPS2 for those of you guys who know this. Okay. And so what we would recommend doing, if you want to solve the suicide solution, what you do is you replace the ROMs with unencrypted versions, and then you just get a standard 68000 chip to put where the battery plus 68000 chip is now.
Okay.
So that would definitely be the first thing that you'd want to do is take care of the suicide issue. Because here's the thing, even if it's not suicide, guess what? It's going to suicide.
Right.
It's going to suicide at some point. And so you need to make sure that you go ahead and get those decrypted ROMs, which you can usually get from Hobby ROMs, other places like that. Sega Resurrection is the website that we're going to recommend, Tim, who actually sells Resurrection kits.
Right.
And I bought one from him, I think, for my Moonwalker, Tim.
Okay.
So their kits are good. So, but yes, so in general, that'd be the first place to start. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and show the slide, though, because we do have a couple other tips we're going to recommend. But checking out the suicide is going to be definitely the first place. So like Tim mentioned, though, John, you've already done a lot of great troubleshooting here. Based on your tests so far, this does seem to be a game board issue of some sort. Make sure that the daughter card is seated properly. Now, Tim, this is a picture from John Q. He sent a picture of the main board without the daughter card on it, and then a picture of the daughter card. But as you know, Tim, when you put those two together, sometimes pins will bend.
Yes.
Okay, and so you need so you need to make sure that when you seat the daughter card on top of the main board, that all of those pins are lined up properly. All it takes is one bent pin, and the whole thing will stop working, right?
Correct.
And so you want to make sure the daughter card is seated properly on the main board. Check all of the pins inside those connectors. Very important, very important. And then, of course, Tim, we're always going to recommend our post on inspecting an arcade board for some general game board repair tips. Okay, right. I want to start there. And then, like we talked about, Sega System 16 boards have a suicide problem. You might try replacing that 68,000 processor, the Hitachi, on your board, because like I said, he sent us a picture. Tim, you can actually see the Hitachi if you're looking. It's kind of, if you go down from like the very first part of the JAMA harness there, and you go straight down, you're going to see like a little kind of rectangular thing. You can't see it in the picture, but that says Hitachi on it. And that's what we're talking about. So you replace that with a standard just 68,000 processor and the ROMs, the unencrypted version of the ROMs. And again, SegaResurrection.com is a great place to get that stuff. And you can go there and order it. And then manually check the RAM chips as well. There are some RAM chips that do not get tested with the self-test. Okay, so if you do the resurrection and you still you're still not booting past that point, you could have a bad RAM chip. There are other RAM chips on the board to try, and you can find those. Basically, Tim, they're all in a row on the board. So if you, like I said, if you look and see where if you look at the schematic for the board, which you can find online, you will see where they all are, and you can just, like I said, you can test them all there pretty easily if you need to. They are seated as well, so once you remove them, you should be in good shape. Once you can remove them easily and put them back in most cases. So I don't think there's anything else here for John Q, but I mean, it's really sounding like a suicide issue. Typically, when boards won't boot, suicide is very common.
Especially in these kind of boards.
Right, exactly. So System 16s very often do have suicide issues. And so, and I noticed that, who was it? YouTube Punk said planned obsolescence. That's exactly correct. That's what it was, But it wasn't really, the reason they did that was not for planned obsolescence, Tim. The reason they did that was to keep people from making the boards. Yeah. Because as we all know, we've seen a million bootleg boards of things, right? And so it was, the reason we went with encrypted ROMs and encryption keys on boards was to keep other manufacturers from copying boards. Because that was a big problem, okay? Like in the 80s, how many, you had Galag, or you had like these bootleg versions of Galaga. And so these manufacturers, it wasn't really planned obsolescence. Of course, that was a result of it. It was more a security measure to keep, just anybody from making a Golden Axe board or whatever it is. So
exactly. So, and like we were saying before, it's not, the fact that it's lasted this long is really a surprise.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't feel bad because he's like, it's always worked, everything, and then all of a sudden it quit. You didn't do anything wrong. The fact that it's lasted this long is really kind of a miracle. It probably played it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. So, so let's do the Suicide Revival, SegaResurrection.com. Let's do that first. And if it still continues to have problems, like check the RAM on the board. Tim, the tests do test the main RAM. And typically, here's what's making me think more suicide is that typically, if all the tests check out, the board will boot. Now, you may have problems. There may be graphical problems and stuff like that. But at least the board will boot. The fact that we're not getting any boot probably leads more towards a suicide issue. So anything else for John Q, Tim, before we move on?
No, John, be sure and let us know. Good luck fixing your game, though.
There you go. So hopefully answers your question, John, and let us know how it goes from there. Let us know after the resurrection if you can get everything back up and running. Okay, I'm going to come over to the live chat real quick. Let's see. No Chappa says, can anyone recommend a Texas-based monitor repair specialist for repairing two Nintendo Red Tint monitors? YouTube Punk says Free Play Arcade would know. Yeah, there's some guys here in Texas that used to do it. Our friend Pat Danish used to do it, but I don't know if he's doing it anymore. Yeah. I don't know who else is doing monitor repair here in Texas. If you go to
Scott Patterson is now in the Dallas area. Where are you located? Texas that's like 5 states. Yeah. What part of Texas? And maybe we can help you, at least connect you with some people that may be in your area of Texas. So
yeah, so Patrick Scott Patterson, our friend Scott, yes, he is also back into arcade repair, and he's doing monitor repair as well. So he
was just fixing a red tint the other day. I saw a post, so that would be a good. And he's in the DFW area.
Yeah, so I mean, you could ship him off to him even if you're in West Texas or South Texas, or even the Panhandle, and he would get them back to you. If you want to drop them off, though. It may be quite a drive depending on where you're located. Right,
but like you said, if you check our resource pages, all of those, and those are people that we know, we've used, and are trusted. Most of those, you can ship your stuff off and get it repaired. But I know that Nintendo one can be a little bit weird. It'd be
Removing-
nice if you could get somebody that local.
Yeah, removing the chassis out of the red tents is a trick. And
Right.
so I think with that in mind, he may be looking for someone to make a house call. And if that's the case, depending on where you're located, I'm sure we can find somebody. So let's let us know what part of Texas you're at, and we'll help you out.
Did he say?
He did not say. We'll see as he comes back. Let's
Okay.
see. YouTube Punk says, I remember playing Moonwalker at Aladdin's Castle. Good times. I remember playing Moonwalker at Mazzio's Pizza. And I have an entire kit. I just don't have a
I
camera
remember
to
that.
him.
Yeah.
So, and I did do the revival on it from Sega Resurrection. We're great. So we're back in business. Let's see. XT2, thanks for doing these videos. Thanks for being here and watching the live show.
Yeah,
So thanks for
thank you.
watching our videos. Golly. I mean, we love that people enjoy the content. So thank you for your thank you, and thank you for watching. How about that?
Okay.
Did I get enough in there?
That was a lot.
Okay, so there we go. YouTube, let's see. YouTube Punk says, interesting, thanks for the context. Yeah, System 16 is very popular. A lot of games are on that platform, including Moonwalker, like we mentioned. And so for those of you guys who have System 16 games, let's do that. Let's get the unencrypted ROMs and the standard 68,000 processor.
Go ahead and get it.
Yes.
and upgrade yours before yours dies, too.
Order a kit, correct.
Yeah.
YouTube Punk, anti-piracy measures with the side effect of plain obsolescence. Yeah, that's how we would describe it. It's like they really didn't want, the biggest thing was copying. Of course, like I said, bootlegs were always a problem in the early days of arcade hardware. And so just to prevent that, encrypted ROMs became kind of a standard. So it is what it is. Let's see. Tim Madone, hi, do you guys make house calls? So we don't really do hands-on arcade repair much except for on our own games.
Right.
Every so often, if I'll have like a long time person call and I'll go do something, but I mean, it's pretty,
It's,
pretty,
you know,
pretty much not something
it's
we do on
just a
daily
time
basis.
issue. You
Yeah.
know, with neither one, we got families' lives. Even squeezing this in once a month sometimes is a chore.
Agreed.
But, you know, I have dropped by, troubleshot, helped a few people local just because, or was able to save them a little time if it was something. But yeah, let us know where you are. We try to help if we can.
If you tell us where you're located, we may know people in that area, or we can refer you to somewhere you can go to find people. The biggest way to connect with arcade repair guys is to go to like festivals, expos in your
Yeah.
area, auctions. If you have arcade auctions, that's a great place to find people. If you have a local vintage arcade or a retro arcade, go there, talk to the tech and see, you know, okay, where are you getting your boards repaired, things like that. And now, Tim, there's bar arcades like everywhere. And
Right.
so, I mean, if you find a bar arcade that has retro games, ask them, like, where are you guys sending your boards off for repair? And I'm sure they can help you in most cases. So, but yeah, so, I mean, it's just, you know, there really are people everywhere that can repair arcade games. Yes, they can be hard to find sometimes, but if you look in the right places, you will find them. Tim says, I have a Sega Vector game that hasn't worked since 1986, but I've held on to it. I'm in San Diego, Tim.
Oh, nice.
So if you're in San Diego, there's a big show out in California that happens every year called the California Extreme. It usually happens, I think, in the summertime. And so what I would recommend doing is going to the California Extreme this year and then talking to people who have other Sega Vector games and seeing if there's anybody who could come out and help you troubleshoot. There are also some California arcade groups that I've seen, Tim. I forget the big one at the moment. Like the SC3 is one. But there are some groups of collectors out in California that may be able to get you connected to someone who can repair it as well. California Extreme will definitely be your best bet. If you go to California Extreme, you should have it. Or if you go, like we said, to a local barcade that's close to you and ask them, say, hey, I've got this 1986 Sega Vector game. Hasn't worked since 1986. I really want to have somebody come out and look at it. I can almost guarantee you that they will find you somebody that will help you out.
Right.
So
great game, though. Good
Yeah.
luck. Hope you get it.
cool thing
working
about
one
going to the expos and things like that and the festivals is that you get to meet other people who are in the arcade games too.
Yeah,
That's like the best
how
part.
we met. A lot of the people that we recommend, we've met before, and we
That's right.
got to know them. And it's always fun just to hang out. Texas Pinball Festival coming up soon. So.
That's right, exactly. So, yeah. So California
Couple weeks.
Extreme. If you look that up though and see when the next one is, like I said, usually it's in the summertime. I want to say. You may want to attend that, and you could probably, you will definitely find someone there that can help you out with your issue. If not, going to a local barcade and asking a tech there if he can help you out. Okay, is there anything else? We good? Okay, well, hang on. Oh, YouTube Punk says, which game, Tim? He says, which game, Tim?
Which game?
Oh, which game
Oh.
to Tim in the chat?
Yeah.
He says a 1986 Sega Vector.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
not
exactly.
sure, like,
Which game? I would
Right.
like to know exactly which game it is.
for sure. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Oh, he says Zector.
Wow.
Zector?
Rare.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
There we go. Okay. Okay.
Or for the price of a plane ticket and a few meals in a hotel,
it
it can happen.
You want to go out to
I
California?
love California. I love San Diego. That's a great place to live, and cost of living's a little bit expensive, but the weather sure is nice.
For sure. So, okay, are we caught up? I think we are. So Big D Retro was in the live chat tonight, Tim, and he sent in a question this month. So let's get to Big D Retro's question real quick. Oh, and Tim, this question comes from, this is the actual title of the episode tonight.
Oh, okay.
So this has to do with it. So Big D Retro writes, hello guys, I always enjoy the videos and tip advice. I am currently having an issue with my double dragon screen. The initial display screen is missing some of the dragon body, and I am getting a double image during gameplay. I do not know what is causing this. Any tips would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Now, Tim, we have the screens here that he sent over as well. And you will see if you look at the title screen, kind of how the tail of the dragon is kind of almost repeated or kind of cut. And then if you look at the gameplay screens, you will notice a repetition on the background image. You see that? So you see like a double image on the background. But you'll notice it seems like the sprites themselves are unaffected, as well as like the other OSD on-screen display information is all kind of okay. And so it really seems to be just the background that's having the issues. And so, but like I said, Tim, this is where the title for tonight's episode comes from. The what I say. Let's see, missing some of the dragon body. There we go.
Okay.
So, missing some of the dragon body. That's what we're doing. Unfortunately, Big D Retro is missing some of his dragon body, Tim, on his Double Dragon game. So, what are some things that Big D Retro can do in order to get that double image, that double background image back in line?
You don't want your Double Dragon taking their name too seriously, right?
That's right. Let's get double dragon.
Yeah, it's a double. But
a double dragon, double image. I thought about that for a title. I don't know.
One thing you need to check right away is check for his voltage and make sure that 5 volts is dialed right in, because you can get a little bit of some image issues if your voltage is not right. Okay. Now you also want to check your game board as well, making sure. Look at our video on checking a game board. After that, it's probably some IC or a RAM or a ROM or something that's background ROM. Something like that. But it's definitely a your board issue somewhere. For sure. I mean, it definitely sounds more of a board issue. Now, Tim, anytime we have board issues, the very first thing we go to is power supply, right? Right.
Because a lot of times a bad power supply will cause the board to do some weird things. If the board is not getting the correct voltage, then obviously we'll have some
even
problems.
if it's just a little off. And sometimes just over time, moving it, whatever, that can change. Or just weakens over time. But sometimes you can adjust it up a little bit. Make sure you're getting right at 5, maybe a little bit over, 5.05 maybe.
Right, exactly. So, so I mean, it just really, it really depends on your power supply. That's a really big part of it, especially your 5 volts line, Tim. That's very important, right? And so always check that. And of course, Tim, we have our video on inspecting an arcade board, which we talked about in the previous questions. But
there's something going on with the RAM, but more than likely with it being a background.
Yeah, exactly. Like so let me go ahead and throw the slide up here, Tim, so we can talk about it a little bit more. So incorrect voltage on the plus 5 volts DC line can cause graphical issues like this. Check your power supply with a multimeter to make sure the voltage is correct. Also check it on the game board as well to ensure there is no voltage drop. Tim, we've seen it before where the plus 5 volts checks fine at the power supply, but then when we get to the game board, we get a voltage drop, right? So this is very common. Make sure you check it at the board. And again, we mentioned earlier, check out our post video on inspecting an arcade board for some general game board repair tips. Now, with that said, let's talk about Double Dragon for a second specifically. Be sure to check the background ROMs, which are at locations IC77, IC78, IC108, and IC109. Check the background RAM, which is IC57, and ensure that they are all working properly. The way the background seems to repeat on several screens makes us want to lean more towards a RAM issue, so that IC57 may be the biggest clue as to what's going on. That may be the one you need to replace. Tim, anything else here for Big D Retro before I
can't think of anything. He's in the chat room. If you got any follow-up or any more questions, please ask.
Okay, he does say voltage was correct. The voltage was correct. So in this case, we're going to lean game board then. So I'm going to put that up again since I saw that, just so we can kind of review those things. IC77, IC78, IC108, IC109. Now, this is assuming you have an original Double Dragon board and not a bootleg.
Right.
If you have a bootleg, these may not be the same. Okay, so check whatever version of Double Dragon you have. Make sure it is, if it's a legit version, these are the right locations. If it's a bootleg version, then you may have some other locations that we don't know about. And specifically, I think IC57, that background RAM, is going to be a big one. So check that and make sure it's working. You may touch up the solder on it, or if it's seated, I think it is seated, Tim. You may pull it up and push
clean
it back down, clean it and push it back down, and see if that makes a difference. Or you may replace it altogether. So, and I'm not sure exactly what chip that is offhand. I'd have to look at the schematic, but it should be something you can get relatively easily. Most of those RAM chips are widely available. So, but here's the thing: the reason I think RAM, Tim, is because it's repeating the background. It's not like we're getting graphic corruption in the background. Does that make sense? So we're not getting graphic corruption. If we were getting graphic corruption, I think ROM.
Right.
We're getting graphic repetition, which means that maybe memory is not translating properly. He said, I also checked chip prongs and reset things securely. It is original, not a boot. So if it's an original, IC57 is the one you want to check. I mean, that'd be the number one thing to check first. Then check the background ROMs and see if they're working properly. But I mean, from there, those are the only things that you can look at. I don't think there's anything else. We could dig out a schematic if you need additional help. I found one online that I kind of just glanced at, Tim. But, you know, if you need additional help, let us know and we can start going through schematic stuff.
Good place to start.
Yeah, exactly. We gave you a good place to start. And check those ROMs, the background ROMs, background RAM, and let us know how it goes from there. So, besides, let's see. Okay, I think we're caught up with him.
Okay.
YouTube Punk says, I first played Double Dragon at Peter Piper's Pizza. Loved it. Yes,
Nice.
Double Dragon's awesome. So, reminds me of The Wizard. You got 50,000 on Double Dragon? So, that was like one of the things that he says to
Right.
So, yeah, time to replace RAM, refresh ROM. Yeah, and like I said, if it was a ROM issue, we'd have more corruption.
I think so too.
We would see like corruptible graphics, and we're not really getting that. So probably in the RAM, it may not be the background RAM. It may actually be a RAM, like a standard game RAM chip as well. So you know, just let us know, keep us posted, and like I said, we'll help you out further if you need additional help. So. Okay, Tim, I think we're caught up on the live chat, so let us go to our next question from Michael. And Michael says, I have a Street Fighter II Alpha cabinet with a 42-inch Neotec monitor that is duplicating the image 3 to 6 times horizontally across the screen. Any idea of what to look for? I have tried a different game board, and that didn't fix the issue. So, didn't fix the image, actually. So, Tim, at this point, we pretty much know it's a monitor issue, right? So Michael did enough troubleshooting here to let us know, okay, we're having a monitor issue of some sort. So what can Michael do here in order to get this Street Fighter Alpha 2 back to a single image?
Well, there's a couple things. It's either out of sync some way, but with that images like that, a lot of times it could have got switched into the wrong mode, like it's in medium res or something instead of standard res or vice versa. Specifically, you want to check your holds though and make sure it's not, you know, you kind of get that stage where it's almost fixing the flip. And so make sure that your holds and everything, check your B plus voltage. But the most common issues are that it seems like somehow it got switched, and it could be a multi-sync monitor. A lot of times that's just a switch that changes from one to another. A few monitors where you actually have to change a wire. It doesn't really show us a picture or show us the back of his monitor, right? No, it doesn't. So if you need further help with that or what we're talking about, that's my guess, is that it probably is out of sync now. Probably got switched somehow easily, but it could be in the wiring to your sync, stuff like that. That's my guess.
Yeah, and he does say Neotec 42-inch, Tim, but he didn't say the model.
Oh, that's right.
He just said it was a Neotec. Now, monitors that large, like Tim mentioned, are usually multi-sync.
Right.
Okay, and so more than likely it is changeable, but you got to match the resolution from the game board to the resolution of the monitor. That's the key. So I have the same thing at the hold is not dialed in correctly too, right? So let's go ahead and just kind of talk about all this as we put up this slide, Tim. So monitor issues like this are usually caused by either a hold sync issue or a resolution mismatch issue.
Yeah.
Start off this repair by trying to adjust the monitor, specifically the horizontal and vertical hold and sync adjustments, to see if you can get the image dialed in. Now, Tim, I have this is a picture of a big buck hunter that the hold is out of hold. And you can see it looks like there's 4 images there.
Yeah.
4 or 5, maybe even 6 images, right? But we know if you dial in the hold, that comes right in, right?
Sure does.
And so sometimes, like when you see multiple images, it's not necessarily a resolution mismatch. It's just that it's out of hold, whatever the case is. So that could be the case. And so you guys, you know, like I said, just kind of play with the hold and sync adjustments just to see if you can get it dialed in, okay? You can also check that your sync wire is connected properly from your game board, because if that's not working properly, that could also be the issue. We've seen it before where the sync input wire is having problems, Tim, right?
Yes.
Like where it's not, the pin itself is not connected properly to the board or other things. And so if that's the case, then you may need to put some more solder on that pin, or you may need to connect the sync back up. And so those are just some things to check before we get into the resolution part. And again, Tim mentioned the B+ voltage. The B+ voltage is also very important. And so make sure that you got your B+ voltage on your monitor dialed in as well. Now let's talk about the resolution mismatch. Okay, so also make sure your game board video output resolution matches the resolution of your monitor. The most common options are 15 kilohertz, Tim, 25 kilohertz, and 31 kilohertz. So if you've got a standard arcade board, Tim, 15 kilohertz, make sure that that monitor is set for a 15 kilohertz signal, right?
Right.
If you've got a medium res game, games would be like Virtua Fighter. A lot of driving games are medium res, right? If you have a medium res game, make sure that that monitor is set to 25 kilohertz or medium resolution. If you have a VGA monitor, a lot of times if it has VGA, it'll have a VGA plug, but not always. And so make sure that if you do have it on VGA, that you have the monitor in VGA mode, 31 kilohertz, and that it's plugged up correctly. So, Tim, anything else here for Michael before we move on?
I don't think so. Good luck, Michael.
Yeah. So, and let us know if you get some model on that Neotec, we could probably give you a little bit better information, right?
Right.
But I will say that most large monitors, Tim, do offer at least some sort of resolution change.
Yeah, but
whether that's just 15 and 25, or if you've got all three options.
About the time those monitors were really popular, they were making them, and so that no matter what boards were getting more advanced and needing more higher resolutions and stuff, so they were producing them where you could switch back and forth. So if you still had an older game, you could do it in standard resolution, but if you needed medium resolution, you could switch it.
We saw them in showcase cabinets a lot. And so showcase cabinets really, a lot of showcase cabinets were not dedicated cabinets, Tim. And they would allow you to swap in pretty much any board. And so that's the reason for the switchability in those monitors in particular. So, Michael, hopefully that gives you some ideas of where to start. Please write us back and let us know if you need additional help. Now, Tim, this is actually our last question. Yeah. We're not going to do the quick question and answer tonight. We've got something else planned. And we were kind of slow on questions this month. So if you guys want your questions answered, now's a good time to send them in. We've been a little slow the last couple of months. So now's a good time to send in your question if you want an answer for sure. But this is the last question of this month, and this one is from Luis, Tim. And so let's see what Luis has to say. He says, I have a Bartop Multicade arcade game, and the player 1 and 2 buttons 5 and 6 do not work. I believe it has to do with the fact that the wires for those buttons are connected directly to my old board. Do I have to rewire a new JAMA harness to the buttons to be able to use those buttons? And so, Tim, I'm not exactly sure. He just says like it's a Bartop Multicade, and he says the buttons 5 and 6 are not working, okay?
Right.
And so he had a board in there, and it sounds like he's doing a swap out for another board. And when he did that, maybe he just plugged in the JAMA harness, and he's like, okay, well, everything's working except for these buttons 5 and 6.
Right.
So what do you think Luis needs to do in order to get buttons 5 and 6 working?
Well, they're normally not on your standard JAMA pinout.
Right.
So most games that were JAMA, it was JAMA Plus. They would have an additional little harness that went so you could have more buttons. Your basic JAMA didn't come with that many buttons. So you're going to need to get a kick harness or some sort so that you can add those buttons in and still be able to play with your setup.
Now, here's the other thing, Tim. Maybe what he had in there was a JAMA with a kick harness, and now he's going to like a Pandora's box, which is CHAMA, Chinese JAMA. If that's the case, you may need to move the button 5 and 6 wires from your kick harness now onto the JAMA harness.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because it won't be on there, but they allow some empty slots where they put them on there.
Right. So CHAMA basically uses the unused spots on the JAMA harness along with the second to last ground wire for button 6.
Right. If that's not hooked up, they won't work.
Correct. So it could be that you went from a board that had a kick harness with JAMA or JAMA Plus to a CHAMA game, and now you need to wire those buttons 5 and 6 directly to the JAMA harness, or it could be vice versa, where you had a CHAMA board that was wired up, and now you have a board that JAMA Plus that requires a kick harness. Does that make sense?
I hope so.
It may be somewhat confusing.
Send us a picture, and we will help you more.
He actually did. So this
picture,
the picture that's on here is actually a picture of his. So you can see where the kick harness is. It's right to the left of the thing there. So my thinking is that he must have had a board with a kick harness, And then when he went to plug in the other board, it was Chama or something like that. And so the kick harness is no longer hooked up there. Or the buttons 5 and 6 are now hooked up on the main harness instead of the kick harness. So, but either way, let's talk about it a little bit more. So it depends on the wiring scheme for the new board you are installing, okay? The JAMA standard officially only supports 3 to 4 buttons per player. Many manufacturers got around this restriction by using the kick harness, like Tim mentioned. An additional harness to connect the extra buttons needed for certain games, such as Street Fighter 2. We all know that one. In recent years, though, Chama, Chinese JAMA, a variation of the JAMA harness, has become popular and allows for 6 buttons per player by using the unused slots and repurposing one of the ground slots at the end of the harness. And so, depending on what you're trying to wire up here, Luis, depends on how we're going to wire the game. So if you will let us know what board you're trying to put in your game, if it's a Pandora's box or if it's something to that effect, let us know. And once we get the pinouts, we can advise you on how you need to wire it up.
Yep.
Okay. In fact, I talk about this, I think, a little bit too in the installing a 412 in one board video. So if you want to watch that one, Luis, you can do that as well. We have a little bit of discussion on that. That board really only has a 4 button, but we do talk a little bit about, I think, the ground wires and stuff like that at the end of the harness. Right, exactly. So we do talk about that a little bit in there. So this can be really confusing because, especially if you're going from a cabinet like a Street Fighter 2 to like a Pandora's box, you would need to be able to basically take the kick buttons off of the kick harness and then wire them into the JAMA harness. Which, Tim, what we would do is we would put JAMA, the 1.56 or 0.156 pins. Yeah. We put those on those wires. We'd insert them into the harness, and then they would connect to the board via the Chama style pinout. Does that make sense? I don't know. All this sounds like gobbledygook to me. I'm trying to explain as best we can.
I think for those in the know, it's pretty simple, but that may sound like total Greek to you. Mm-hmm. Write us back. Let us know. Give us a few more pictures. We'll help you.
Yeah, and if you let us know which board you're trying to install, we can give you pretty good instructions on where to go from here. So, okay, Tim. YouTube Punk says Zector looks cool. Tim, asteroids variant with cool with color
that's
vectors.
What I remember. It's kind of like an asteroid.
I don't even think I've seen one before, but I know Tim has obviously seen more games than I have. So,
I probably played it back in the day.
Yeah, Jumping General here. He says, "Hey, hello guys. Sorry I'm late to the party. Oh, no problem. I'm glad you're here. So, great to have you, Jumping General, for this month's show. But yeah, I've not played it for sure. I think I may have seen it like maybe once. So Zector. Mm-hmm. There you go. Cool. So okay, are we done? That is it for questions. Yeah. Now I know we'd usually do like the quick question and answer, but like I said, we were kind of light on questions this month.
Oh, we got some new stuff.
Now, Tim, what month is this stuff?
This is March Madness.
Now, it's March, and so what happens in March is March Madness, right? So those of you guys who are familiar with college basketball probably have filled out a bracket before, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so guess what?
We got a bracket.
Okay, so we are going to do a bracket tonight. Tonight is a bracket, and the live chat, you guys are going to have a lot of input in on this, so I want you guys to help us out. So what we have done is we have done a 8-game bracket of the top grossing games of all time. Okay. But we're going to determine which one is the best.
Grossing. So
highest grossing. Money. These 8 games made the most money at the arcade of any other games. Okay. And so here we go, Tim. I am going to put the bracket up on the screen real quick. Okay. So we have Pac-Man, Space Invaders.
Okay.
Street Fighter 2, NBA Jam, Miss Pac-Man, Defender, Asteroids, and Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat was a close ninth, by the way, like the original Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
As you probably would suspect. So we all know these games. Those people who are in the live chat know these games. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to have this bracket and we're going to get input from the live chat. You and me will give our input as well. We'll take all that into consideration and we will figure out who the winner will be of these top 8 games. Now you will see in the first game, Tim, we have Pac-Man
versus Space Invaders.
So what I need, guys, is I need your choice. Live chat, just write Pac-Man or Space Invaders and go. And Tim, we're going to wait about a minute here. Now, while they're chiming in, I want us to talk about them.
Okay.
So Space Invaders, obviously a little bit earlier than Pac-Man, right?
Right.
And so
popular game though. Lots of arcades and stuff had them back in the day.
Still being remade. There's like new reboots of Space Invaders still being made, obviously. Yeah. So I mean, it's still very popular today. Now, Pac-Man is like long lasting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is like when people think arcade games, I feel like Pac-Man's one of the ones that really comes up. So Tim, we're getting our votes in. So far we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 for Pac-Man, 6, 7. We have 7 for Pac-Man, 1 for Space Invaders.
Okay.
7 for Pac-Man, 1 for Space Invaders. Joe says Tron has to be on there somewhere. Unfortunately, Tron was not one of the top 8 highest grossing games of all time. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 and 1 Space Invaders. Tim, who are you going to vote for?
I'm going to trust the chat room, and I am going to say Pac-Man.
Okay, so that's 9. I'm going Pac-Man too. 10. So Pac-Man wins the battle against Space Invaders. So Pac-Man will move on to the next round. Pac-Man. Okay, I'm not going to put it up on the screen, guys. I'm just going to leave the bracket up there so you guys can see it. I'll write it on my bracket here.
All right.
Okay, the next battle. The next game we have in our bracket here, Tim. Street Fighter 2 versus NBA Jam. Street Fighter 2 or NBA Jam live chat. Please chime in with us. Let us know what you think. Which is better, Street Fighter 2 or NBA Jam? Tim, let's talk about it.
See, now, this one, I know what everybody's going to say, Street Fighter right off the bat. But we're talking about a grossing game.
Yes.
And that NBA Jam was a quarter eater back in the day.
4 players.
4 players instead of 2. But I'm still going to go with Street Fighter. I think that Street Fighter was just the boss back in the day.
So NBA Jam, I have a lot of fond memories of playing NBA Jam at the arcade, paying per quarter, because that's always how the operator said it seemed like.
Right.
But here's the thing. I had to wait in line to play Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
I never had to wait in line to play NBA Jam. NBA Jam was usually open. For Street Fighter 2, I waited in line. I put my quarter up on there. I mean, literally, the line was 8 deep. And they'd have like 3 Street Fighter games. And we're talking about the popularity is just insane. So going over to the live chat, Tim, here we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 for Street Fighter, 7 for Street Fighter, none for NBA Jam yet. Any NBA Jam takers? Nobody. We'll see here in a second. We'll give them a little bit more time, Tim. But I love NBA Jam. I think it's incredibly fun. There's no doubt in my mind that it is a top game of all time. But when you're going head-to-head with Street Fighter 2, which may just be the GOAT of all of this.
Maybe.
Okay. I'm going Street Fighter 2 too, and it looks like the live chat agrees. Tim, you agree too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Counting our votes, Tim. Street Fighter 2 moves on to the next round. Okay. Next matchup, Tim. I think this one may be pretty easy too.
This one's easy.
Okay, we have Miss Pac-Man versus Defender.
Yeah.
Now, in Defender's defense, it is a very good game. I feel like the approachability of it is not as great as Miss Pac-Man.
Right.
Okay, but we do already have Pac-Man through to the next round. So, I mean, does that change the way you look at Miss Pac-Man? The fact that we already have Pac-Man through to the next round.
I'm going to throw this in there. Girls like Miss Pac-Man.
Yes.
You ever seen a girl play Defender?
Nope. That is true.
Just being honest. That's a hard game. I don't even like Defender that much myself.
Defender's
I like it, but I'm just saying it's hard. It's got to be Miss Pac-Man.
Okay, Miss Pac-Man.
Hands down.
Okay, well, here we go. We have Defender. We have Miss Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Defender.
Okay,
so Defender is getting more popularity than what I initially thought.
It was so hard though. You put a lot of quarters in it.
That's true.
Miss Pac-Man, I could play on 1 quarter for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. So Miss Pac-Man, Tim, obviously a classic. I think it's better in every way than Pac-Man.
Okay.
Just personally, if I have a choice between the two, Miss Pac-Man will always be my go-to. So if it's Miss Pac-Man or Defender, I'm going Miss Pac-Man. Let's look over at the live chat, Tim. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for Miss Pac. We have 2 Defenders, it looks like, Tim. And then 9, 10 for us, right?
Right.
Okay, so Miss Pac-Man moves on to the next round. Okay, next one. This may depend on your age.
Okay.
I would say. We have Asteroids versus Mortal Kombat 2. Now, I think for people who are classic arcade enthusiasts, Asteroids may get the nod here. But for those of you guys who grew up in the 90s with me, maybe more of a Mortal Kombat 2 scene. So I think this really has to do more with age than anything. I like how YouTube Punk just said Miss Defender.
Okay. I don't remember that game.
Yeah, exactly. But so anyway, Asteroids versus Mortal Kombat 2, that is the next in the bracket. So those people in the live chat, go ahead and let us know who you think will win. Is it or tell us who you think should win, Asteroids or Mortal Kombat 2. Tim, let's talk about Asteroids for a second. Now, I should say own both of these. Okay, at certain points. So I've owned an Asteroids, still own a Mortal Kombat 2. Okay. Asteroids is super fun. No joystick. Okay, which is something I think that a lot of people, when we think of arcade games, we think of joysticks, right? It is a black and white vector game, right?
Right.
So, but Mortal Kombat 2, again, like Miss Pac-Man, basically improved on its predecessor in every single way. Is a very fun game, still to this day, a game that a lot of people still remember fondly. So, Tim, what do you think?
Boy, I can remember Asteroids having and it was such a quick game until you got good at it.
Right.
So I can remember dumping quarters in Asteroids by the dozens until I could even play for a couple minutes. It's a very fast game, even if you're really good. Mortal Kombat is a little different era for me. Boy, I am really on the fence there, and no, I'm not going to Google or anything. I'm going to have to say, though, I bet you it's MK2.
MK2.
By that time, I think that was a popular game.
I tell you what, it's close in the voting. It is very close. So, very close. It looks like, I think MK2 is going to edge it out slightly, Tim. I think that's what we have.
This one was tougher. This was the toughest one out of that first bracket for me.
Let's see. 5, 6, 7 for MK2. Asteroids, we have 1. Let's see, 2, 3. We have 3 for Asteroids. I mean, I'm going Mortal Kombat 2 because that's my era.
Right.
Okay, like that is the
I feel almost betraying poor Asteroids. and y'all remember, now we will say this, I'll say this. Remember back in the day hearing stories about the coin buckets would be so full the game wouldn't work? I don't know, but Mortal Kombat, boy, that I can imagine being an operator back in those days. We were just chugging that thing to the bank.
So there was a 7-Eleven that was right down from the high school where I went. And that 7-Eleven had one arcade game in it, Tim. What arcade game do you think they had?
They probably had Street Fighter or
Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
It's the only game they had in there was Mortal Kombat 2. And why did they have that game, Tim? Because it made money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat 2 moves on to the next round. Now, this is where things get tough because we kind of have the Pac-Man family versus the fighting family here.
Right.
And Joe said fighting games suck, but MK was everywhere. So this may depend on how you guys see things. Okay. At this point, we know kind of who the winners are. I'm going to bring it back to us real quick so we can kind of talk about it. You guys can see us on screen here.
Okay.
So we've narrowed it down. We got Miss Pac-Man, Street Fighter 2, and we have Pac-Man, Pac-Man, Street Fighter 2, Miss Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay.
Okay, so live chat, first battle, Pac-Man, Street Fighter 2. Tim, Pac-Man, Street Fighter 2. Original Pac-Man, Street Fighter 2.
Man, I just from reading articles and stuff, I just remember Street Fighter 2 being a monster game, and so many of them produced. Pac-Man was popular, but like I said, you had Billy Mitchell out there playing 3 hours on one quarter. I'm gonna have to say money-making Street Fighter 2.
Oh my goodness! I thought you would go Pac-Man. I am shocked.
I don't think it made that kind of money.
Okay.
Because it was easy to memorize the patterns. It wasn't long. Probably within a couple months of it being out, I'd already heard about how you could memorize patterns and play. And most people I knew, they've started pulling Pac-Mans because kids would just sit on there on one quarter and play all day. I've never seen anybody put one quarter in Street Fighter and play for hours.
There we go. Okay, so Tim has gone Street Fighter 2. Let's see live chat. Go ahead and chime in now. Let's see what we got in the live chat, Tim. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 for Street Fighter 2. We have 1 for Pac-Man so far. We'll give you guys a couple more minutes. Tim, I'm with you on the Pac-Man because once you memorize the patterns, it's not as much fun. That's what makes Miss Pac-Man better. Yes. I should say that, is that the randomness of it all. And so for me, I'm kind of feeling what you said. I'm feeling Street Fighter 2 as well. We have another Street Fighter 2 just timed in. So I'll give them 10, 15 more seconds.
It's not a personal which one I like better. We're asking the question, grossing, making money.
Yes.
And if I was an operator, I would have that Street Fighter. It probably made me more money back in the day.
Street Fighter single-handedly brought the arcade back.
Yeah.
That's my point. It's like, look, the arcade was dying.
And Pac-Man were everywhere. The laundromat, Safeway, everywhere I went, I saw a Pac-Man game. But that didn't last really long. Right. It was pretty short-lived. Okay. Street Fighters were still playing up until last year, probably, at the laundromat.
They probably still are. Street Fighter 2 is what me and Tim are going with. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Street Fighter 2, 7, 8 with me and Tim. And then 1 Pac-Man, Tim. Street Fighter 2 goes through to the final.
Okay.
SF2. Okay. This one's tough, too. Miss Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat 2. So we have 2 sequels.
Okay.
2 sequels. Okay?
Now we're talking different. Like I said, I do know that probably Miss Pac-Man, there were so many of them made.
But before you say anything, I want to mention Tim's comment here. Tim says, if you purchase the LP with the song Pac-Man Fever, the inner sleeve had a complete layout of how to move to last forever on 1 quarter.
Yes.
Like it actually told you the whole map.
It did.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so back to the bracket. Miss Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat 2, 2 sequels, Tim. 2 sequels.
All right, yeah, two sequels.
2 sequels.
And now this one, we'll go back to the laundromat. Boy, those two were still around. You still see a Miss Pac-Man in the wild every once in a while.
Yep.
I never see a MK2.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Miss Pac-Man on this.
Oh
one.
my goodness. Okay, Miss Pac-Man. Okay.
1 vote there.
I'm gonna put it right there. So,
Jonathan doesn't have to agree with me.
Let's see. Okay, I have 1 MK2, 2 MK2. Okay, so 2 MK2, 1, 2, 4 Miss Pac so far. Okay, so I'm gonna give them a little bit longer. So I have 2 MK2s and 4 Miss Pacs. That means we have 5 total with yours, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys want to chime in the live chat, chime in now.
You haven't voted yet.
I have not. I'm thinking about it because this one's difficult.
Flip a coin on this one.
MK2. Okay, MK2. Miss Pac, Miss Pac, Miss Pac, Miss Pac. So yeah, right now, 5. We have 5 Miss Pacs in there. 6 with your vote. So and we have 2 MK2s. Tim, we went Street Fighter 2 on the other one. I kind of feel like I have to go Miss Pac here.
Yeah.
Just because of that. But like I said, I mean, MK2, I have both of these games,
Yeah.
right? And they're both fantastic games. I think the replayability of MK2 is better.
How about this? Mixed Pac-Man has been making money since 1982.
That's true.
So they had like a 10-year start on making money on them, right? So maybe just the longevity of it.
Okay. Okay, well, Miss Pac-Man goes to the next round. I'm going to put my vote with Miss Pac. So Miss Pac is now through to the final. Okay, guys. Here we go. This is the toughest one, and this may depend, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, on your era of arcade gamer. And so, Tim, we're going to see here. The final is Street Fighter 2 versus Miss Pac-Man.
All right. I'm not going to influence this time.
Okay.
I might be pulling the crowd a little bit.
We'll just talk generally about both games.
Why could it be? It could be either one of these.
Yeah.
These are good games.
Okay, so live chat. Street Fighter 2, Miss Pac-Man, cast your votes now. This is for the final. This is for the winner.
The winner.
Okay, so we've already said a lot about these 2 games. Street Fighter 2 single-handedly brought back the arcade scene, I would say.
I would think
in the
so,
90s.
yeah.
But Miss Pac-Man improved on a formula that was already good and made it great, right? Like it improved on Pac-Man so much that it made Pac-Man awesome, right?
I dropped so many quarters in Miss Pac, I should be retired by now.
If you had all those quarters.
I just invested those. And even if I invested in Atari, I think I'd be retired by now.
Right. So back in the 80s, this is, let's see, Wang Ho Tango says, back in the 80s, I'd find the craziest stuff in laundromats. Superbike and Fantasy, for instance, they seem old and ancient even then. Yeah, you never know what's in a laundromat, right? I mean, golly, they have all sorts of crazy games. Okay, we got the votes coming in. I see 1, 2, 3 for Miss Pac-Man. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 for Street Fighter. Okay, you guys need to, I was about to say, chime in here if you haven't already. So it's very close here. Very close. So, very close. So there's another Street Fighter, Tim. Okay, so I gotta start counting.
What are we at? We
here.
may be the deciding
1,
vote.
2, that's right. 3, 4. I've got 4 for Miss Pac right now. Let's see, Street Fighter at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
Okay, so we have. Okay, any other votes gonna come in?
So we could literally be deciding the.
Yeah, you and me could be deciding it.
It could be a tie.
It could be.
No, it can't be a tie.
It could be.
If we both vote.
If we vote opposite each other. No, it wouldn't.
No, it's no way it could be a tie.
There's no way, unless somebody else chimes in.
The winner is going to be decided here.
We're going to give him a little bit more time here. Street Fighter 2 or Miss Pac-Man. If you haven't voted yet, go ahead and throw that in the live chat. So, YouTube Punk says, saw my first Donkey Kong in a laundromat next to a centipede, Tim.
Nice.
Yeah, there probably are still Street Fighter 2s in laundromats. Somewhere.
Probably.
Let's see. Joe says, Killer Instinct crushed Street Fighter in my area. Killer Instinct came much later. But I noticed that once Killer Instinct came out, it seemed like a lot of the older fighters started to go out the door. Killer Instinct kind of brought in the next wave with like Mortal Kombat 3 and some of the later games for sure. That's when we started to get Tekken and some of that stuff, Virtua Fighter.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 1 more Street Fighter, 1 more Miss Pac, 2 more Miss Pacs, Tim. So 1 more Street Fighter, 2 more Miss Pacs. We're tied right now.
Okay.
We're tied.
So we're going to have to decide this.
Okay, anybody else? Any other votes? I'm making sure nobody voted twice. So, any other votes? Any other votes? Nope. Okay. I'm killing dead air here.
Yeah. That's all right.
Okay, I think
now if we vote opposite, it's going to be a tie, right?
Right, exactly. So I'm gonna count them up again just to make sure that I've got them all here. Let's see. No, YouTube Punk said, he said Street Fighter 2. So that's where I'm starting. Is where YouTube Punk had Street Fighter 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5.
Keep
6.
us honest, guys.
Okay, so I had 6 there for Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
Which is what I have on my paper.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4, 5. That's the only 5 for. I'm looking at 5 for Miss Pac-Man. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think only 5.
Okay.
Okay, so Miss Pac-Man has 5. Street Fighter 2 has 6. So it's up to you and me as to whether or not we need to, as to who's going to win, I guess. Wingo Tango says Mortal Kombat 2 was so big at one of my arcades, I found it really awkward to play. So Samurai Showdown was my fighting game. Oh, there's another Miss Pac that just came in, Tim.
Oh.
So and that was Wingo Tango. That was a late one as well. So that puts us at a tie.
We're now in a tie.
We are now in a tie between Miss Pac-Man
if we go opposite,
and Street
it's
Fighter
a tie.
2.
If we agree, it's a hands down winner.
Yes. So Joe says
No
Mr.
voting
Duke.
twice.
Let's see. Mortal Kombat 2 had the run button, right? If so, that was weird. No, Mortal Kombat 3 had the run button. That's where they had the run button, was Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
So, okay, we're going to cut off voting.
Okay.
We are tied. We have 6 and 6 for Street Fighter 2 and Miss Pac-Man, Tim. So, tell us your vote and tell us your reasoning.
I'm going to go with the randomizer.
The randomizer.
Boy, I don't. Is there a real answer to this?
I think either way, you're a winner.
Yeah.
If you're playing either of these games, they're both good. So
yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to go with my error and just vote for Miss Pac.
Okay. Okay. So, man, you're putting a lot of pressure on me.
And I got mine in first. So.
That's right. Well, I'll let you do that. Okay. So as a '90s kid, Tim, I grew up going to the arcade in the '90s. Street Fighter 2 was the stuff. Okay. To be honest with you, I mean, I remember Miss Pac-Man, but I did not. I remember it being over in the corner and nobody be playing it. Because in the '90s, we liked all the new stuff.
Right. Sure.
So, but as I've gotten older, I have come to more of a appreciation of the classics. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Tim, with that said, Miss Pac-Man is going to be my choice, and Miss Pac-Man wins the bracket.
Okay.
So there we go. Okay, it was close there, guys. As much as I like Street Fighter 2, I feel like Miss Pac should be the winner for it. So
if there's an actual answer and you want to Google it, this was just for fun.
Right, this is the live chat in our bracket.
Our bracket.
That's right.
This is not an official. We didn't really pull numbers and stuff. We're just having
so congratulations to Miss Pac-Man, which is the best, highest grossing arcade game of all time, according to Arcade Repair Tips March 2025.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Which we technically have no clue.
Exactly. So there you go. But anyway, guys, so glad that you guys could help us out with that. That was fun, Tim.
It was fun.
It's our March Madness bracket.
Hope the guys like
Maybe we'll make it a yearly thing. Every March, we'll just do another bracket. So there we go. Miss Pac-Man is the winner for tonight in the highest grossing arcade game of all time, March 2025 edition, Tim. And so we'll see you maybe next year for another bracket. So there we go. Thank you guys for chiming in. Live chat, that was fun. Thanks for chiming in there. It was awesome.
Okay, so now we can go with what game do you think should have been in there? We had one vote for Tron.
Right. I saw Mr. Do.
I like Golden Tee.
Golden
Tee had sucked a lot of my quarters up.
That's true.
Especially early.
Yep.
What other games? Donkey Kong went in there.
So this is the top 8. I think if you went out to 12, I think you got Donkey Kong in there.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat 1 was in there, and I forgot what the other 2 were. There were 2 more. I can't remember.
No Centipede.
No Centipede wasn't. I don't think in there. Let's see.
Galaga. What about Galaga?
Yeah.
Galaga is still pretty popular. You go to Pizza Hut, they probably still got a Galaga.
Okay, so Tim is asking, hey Tim and Jonathan, if you had to narrow it down to just 5, what were your top 5 arcade games?
Top 5, just fun play.
Do you want me to go first?
My 5.
Okay,
go ahead.
No, if you know.
Go ahead. Go your 5. I'm thinking about it. It's a hard one for me.
Galaga, Street Fighter 2. I do like Miss Pac-Man. I love Soul Calibur. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, and Tekken Tag is like one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
So I mean, newer stuff is that's my favorite. So Tekken Tag and Soul Calibur are 2 of my favorites. Miss Pac-Man, Galaga for the classic stuff, and then Street Fighter 2 because you have to have Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, if I'm just going to sit down and play some games, if I walk into a barcade, I'm going to hope that. So I will go. One of my favorite games you guys might know is Omega Race.
Yep, Omega Race.
I love Omega Race. It's one of my favorite games of all times. Donkey Kong. I like some Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
It's always on. Like
I would love to have
Kong.
Donkey Kong in there. I just feel like I can't take out Galaga or Miss Pac-Man. Those are my classics.
Then that's where I hit Galaga, Miss Pac-Man. So I got to have one more, and I've already kind of did a little bit. I'm going to go a little rare for maybe some people, but just me and you have played it so often, and that would be Kicks.
Yeah, Kicks is. I thought about
like
Kicks hard.
Kicks.
I love Kicks. For sure.
That's probably my top 5.
Yeah. John Q's here, Tim, that we did the Golden Axe question
hey,
for
John.
earlier. He says, thank you for recommendations. I found a site that sells the new CPU and unencrypted ROM chips, a kit for $60. Going to try that and go from there. Yes, absolutely. SegaResurrection.com is what we recommended, but if you want to try a different one, have at it.
Yeah,
So,
let us know how it works out. Follow up with us. Send us a picture. We'd love to hear that, how it works out.
For sure.
We got a top 5 here. What's his top 5?
We have YouTube Punk is our friend. Congratulations to Miss Pac. Joe Holt says UR Kung Fu was the best fighter. UR Kung Fu we've had before. Biggie Retro said they made so many Miss Pac-Man. I assume more were made than Street Fighter 2. I think so. But you got to remember Street Fighter 2 was a kit game too.
Yeah, and there was so many kits sold.
Right. Rohammer Billy Lee, of course, would say Double Dragon. Tim.
Okay.
I think that's pretty common. Wingo Tango says, I think if there was newer stuff wasn't around, the old stuff would get plenty of play. Yeah, for sure. I think so, too. Fun Bubble says Centipede should have been one of the games.
I don't think so.
There. Wingo Tango, Wild Western. So much fun to play on a real machine. I don't know if I know that.
Boy, I don't even know if I played that. Good.
YouTube Punk says Galaga, Frogger, Tekken Tag. Oh, yeah. Tekken. I love Tekken Tag. Golly, Tim. Man, I would sit up at the arcade and play Tekken Tag. I would just sit there and let people challenge me. I love that stuff. Biggie Retro says Robotron, Tim.
Oh, well, see, and people who like Robotron, I'm not very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I love to watch people play it that are good at it. And I have a really appreciation. But mentioning Williams games, you got me thinking like Sinistar.
Yeah, Sinistar was a big one for you. That's right.
One, you know.
Would you take out Omega Race and put Sinistar in?
Yeah. We play, when my son was just home for my birthday, and we play Wahoo. You ever play Wahoo? It's just a little board game. You play with marbles and you jump, roll dice and stuff. And we get really competitive with it. And we even have a little trophy and stuff. So it's a big deal. And so you're trying to chase them down. And the whole time I'm going, run, coward, run. And every time they look at me like, why do you say that? Like that. And I'm just going, run,
Sinistar,
coward,
Sinistar.
run.
Let's see.
Nobody ever gets it.
Now, Tim, who asked the question, has his. His number 1 is Vector, which is the vector game that
we gotta have to play that.
Eliminator was number 2, Tempest number 3, Venture number 4, Spiders number 5. Tempest,
Ooh,
yeah, Tempest
wow.
is good.
Man, Tempest sucked a lot of quarters back in the day too. Yeah.
John Q says, I will certainly get back to you about the update on the kit.
Thank you.
So there we go. YouTube Punk says, let's see. Yes, hit us with the update. Absolutely. YouTube says Tekken 3 and Tekken Tag were my jam. Robotron for sure. Let's see. Jumping General, how about Kangaroo?
Oh, yeah.
Kangaroo's okay. I'm not a big Kangaroo fan. It's fun to play.
You know, I didn't really like to play it, but I loved it in the game room because it had a track mode that would just every once in a while go off. And I liked the music, and it was just kind of, it was fun. And kids. When the kids came over, Kangaroo. It's like, what is this game? And, you know, we found one here locally in somebody's garage, and that was, I miss that game. That was such a beautiful game.
Joe says, Miss Pac, Sinistar, Robotron, Galaga, Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
All great games. Alan says, Dragon's Lair, Firefox, Zookeeper, Joust. All great games. So,
Joust is fun, too.
Yeah. Joust is a lot of fun. With 2 players, and I was thinking, something that you didn't put in your list that I was thinking you may put in there, Wizard of War.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Wizard of War seems like a great...
Especially 2-player.
Yeah, 2-player Wizard of War.
And we could just get back to back and firing. And I always tell that story, the best Halloween was that time. We had a Wizard of War. We couldn't get the backlight to... It was like, we'd do this Frankenstein, like, and kind of make noise. And then we thought, well, we'll just leave it like that and put it out. And when we were handing out candy, we had a extension cord out in the driveway. And everybody thought it was some spooky Halloween game, but it was just Wizard of War, and it was so much fun watching the kids play it.
For sure.
I miss that game.
Let's see what Willie says. Neo Geo Cabinet, Mortal Kombat 3, Donkey Kong. So, I mean, 2 newer games and an older game. That's interesting, too. And you didn't put Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
And
when I think Mortal Kombat 3, I like Ultimate.
Here's a question that people ask me. I like games, but I was never really good at any game, but maybe one.
What was your
I
one?
was pretty good at Gyrus.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so Gyrus, just the fact that you were
good at it.
Well, what happened was I'd go to the arcade, and everybody be playing Miss Pac-Man and everything, and Gyrus would be the only game open, and I would go over there and play that. And a lot of people didn't like it as much, but I always liked it, and so I got pretty good at it.
There you go. Let's see what else we have here. YouTube Punk says, I remember the crowd in Dragon's Lair at Aladdin's Castle was thankful for the spectator monitor. Yeah, I mean, Dragon's Lair was huge when it came out. Gauntlet says, let's see, Enolaron Ron says, Gauntlet. Gauntlet's a good one. Joe says, Kangaroo needs a jump button. I tried to climb the ladder and the king jump, shake my head. Let's see. Troll answer, my favorite's the 60 and 1. That's
there you go. Okay.
Tim says Omega Race was a lot of fun. Too bad it was never ported to a home console. I have a special fondness for vector games. Yeah, I mean, Vectrex. I think didn't Vectrex have an Omega Race game?
I think so.
I think it did. Let's see. Phaser says Marble Madness, Paperboy, Street Fighter 2, Centipede, and Miss Pac-Man.
Oh yeah.
Oh great. Wingo Tango Omega Race was ported to the ColecoVision apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there were some.
Yeah, there was a one on there. I remember playing it.
Mm-hmm. So Gyrus the track mode is the best, I think is what Joe said there. Yeah. The track mode in Gyrus is cool. It plays the music's really cool. For sure. We've had a couple of Gyruses in that time.
Hope you guys are having fun tonight.
Okay, yeah, Big D Retro. There was only one game I was able to flip the score back to 0. That game was called Kicker. I had played Kicker before. Yeah.
Wow.
Golly, that's a classic. Isn't that a Stern?
Yeah,
that's a Stern.
Yeah. It's some rare games too. I like it.
Okay, well, live chat, you guys are awesome tonight. We're having a good time, and now it's time to celebrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
We celebrate March Madness.
We're not just celebrating March Madness.
St. Patrick's Day.
Put that on, my man.
All right.
There we go.
The dreaded. You know yours is next month.
I know. Okay, here we go. It is Tim's birthday month. There's your present. And I will sing the Arcade Repair Tips crew song to you. Happy birthday from all of us to you. Happy birthday from your Arcade Repair Tips crew. Hey, okay, there we go. Okay, so Tim has a card.
So who all missed the intro song? We'll have to play it maybe in between while we're down. Or
yeah, something. I'll play it in between, maybe after the ending song and before the after show. So
thank you. So
I mean,
got some.
I'm about to say, got a tool card.
Little thought went into that. Yeah.
I want to get you something nice.
Okay.
So I always put it all in one box just because it's easier. And while he's opening that, I'm going to go back over to the live chat real quick. Tim says Gauntlet always gets credit for being the first 4-player arcade game. I believe that honor goes to Sega, the Sega Gremlin game Eliminator from 1981.
Ah.
So there we go. Oh, other side.
Okay.
I TV wrapped it for you.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, we got a lot of paper.
Okay, just pull that out. I just breakable stuff. I didn't want to break it. Oh, speaking of which, I probably need to get you some scissors or a knife. We'll get here in a second. All
right. Okay. So we got a sign for the shop.
So as Tim mentioned, he's wearing the Pop shirt, so we got him some Pop stuff. So Pop, it says Pop's Fix It Shop. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it's broke, take it to Pop.
Very good.
So there we go. That's for you, sir.
Let's see. Oh, there's something else in here.
Yeah, I got receipts in there too.
There's an arcade game in here.
Oh yeah, there you go.
All right. So what is this?
That is a Data East game. It's got Burger Time and a couple other things on it. Bad Tudes, Karate Champ. But I was thinking, you can never start them too early, Tim.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna give, and it's purple too, and it's a girl, so I thought that would go really nice. So everybody needs a first arcade game.
Somebody asked something about my shop, and I said it is no longer called my shop. It's now Tim and Holly's arcade.
There you go.
Shop and arcade.
I like it.
So I can't wait till she's big enough. We will definitely have to get some videos.
There we go. Yeah, so put that in her hands, and you can show her. And I mean, the joystick should be just right her size, right?
It should be. Yeah.
Okay. Got a shirt.
She's a t-shirt. Let's see what.
There's one more thing in there too.
I see that.
Yeah. So we'll pull that out here in a second.
So we got a shirt, and it says, I'm going to read it first.
I don't know if you have this one. Hopefully not.
No, I do not. Pop, another time for grandfather. Cooler, only cooler, way cooler. See also handsome, exceptional, and legend.
There we go. So, I like the color. And I like the definition. I thought was funny.
So, a little bit of history.
There's one more thing.
I always say I had great parents. But most of my grandparents passed away when I was really young. So, I didn't really grow up with grandparents. And so this is kind of neat for me. But my cousin did on his dad's side. So he married my dad's sister, whatever. It's on the other side of the family, and they called him Pop. And so he treated me just like I was his grandkid. And so to me, it's an honor to be called Pop because that's who I remember.
There you go.
So anyway, it is a
here. I'll open that up. I think I can. This is breakable. Okay, I think I got it. Keep the receipts.
Okay.
Just in case you need to take things back.
All right.
Here we go. Hopefully it's not broken. There we go.
What is this? Pop, the man, the myth, and the legend.
There we go.
It's a coffee mug, so thank you.
And in fact, YouTube Punk said legend, so he already got it before I even got in there. So
very good.
There you go.
Thank you.
So you're gonna need that coffee cup, Tim.
I need it tonight. I've already found that out. They've had to stay with us. Some of you guys that know they've had to stay with us the last week, and my son-in-law has been down, and my daughter has been, of course, being a new mom and stuff. So. I'm through with this hat.
Yeah, she can take it off.
But we've had her and the whole family at our house, and I've been definitely getting my share of diaper changes and rockings and feedings and stuff. So it has been a great month. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Jonathan.
Of course.
You're always
Happy birthday.
A good friend. We go back a long ways and celebrate a lot of birthdays together. Probably going on now almost half of
25.
Half of your life, more than half.
More than half of my life.
Not quite half of mine, but anyway, some people might ask, I can honestly get my senior drink now and not have to lie about it anymore. Get a few discounts. I hit 55, so I hit the speed limit. I hit the speed limit. At least in the 80s, it was a speed limit. Now I'm going for the Texas speed limit. We got to get 85 on the interstates out there. So thank y'all for being here, and stick around for the after show.
We're not done yet.
If you like the... Oh, we got more?
We got more. In fact, I need to put up what I got you. So I got you the Pop Definition t-shirt, and there's a link here and down below. We got you the Pop, the Man, the Myth, the Legend mug. We got you the MyArcade.e's Pico player. Yeah. And we got you the Pop Fix It sign, which I personally love the best.
Yeah, I do like that.
So there you go. So if you guys want to buy any of those items, they're down below. Of course, we are an affiliate for Amazon, so we get a small portion if you guys do buy those things. So please support us. We love that. But I hope that you enjoyed it all.
I did.
Good.
Wow.
Okay.
Setting the bar high.
There we go. So let me go ahead and catch back up to where we were. YouTube Punk wished you a happy birthday, Tim.
Thank you.
Dragon Punch Dave said, I've always loved fighting games. My top 5 are Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Mortal Kombat 2, Killer Instinct, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2, all of which I own, which are all fantastic fighting games. Big D Retro says, happy birthday. Fun episode tonight from Big D Retro there. Let's see, Jumping General, best place to buy power supplies from. I bought one off eBay and it would only adjust to 3 volts max.
What the heck?
So you can't beat Holland Computers. That's one of our favorite suppliers, right? So HollandComputers.com, make sure you get your stuff there. Arcade Shop is another great one. We have a list of all the suppliers you should be using on our resources page at arcaderepairtips.com/resources. So go there and you'll find some great part suppliers you can order from them. Let's see. Resources. Dragon Punch Dave says, happy birthday, Tim.
Thank you, guys.
Joe says, where's the art rap? LOL. Happy birthday, Tim.
Oh, thank you.
We'll do the rap later.
We'll play it.
Tim says, happy birthday. Wango Tambo says, Sprint from the 70s had an 8-player version, maybe a 4-player. Yeah, I think I do remember Sprint having an 8-player version. It was pretty big.
Man, I just thought of a great game.
What?
Track and Field.
Track and Field was fantastic.
Man, I love that game back in the arcade.
YouTube Punk says, I need to wear the hat next time. I thought we always wore the hat. Don't we always wear the hat?
I think so. It's your turn.
It is my turn. Joe says, kids are the best when you can send them home with the parents.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they're living with you right now, so that's a different thing.
Well, they'll go home soon.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't wait.
Yeah, YouTube Punk says, I got you a pop-themed loot crate. Kind of did. So, but I mean, I asked him what he wanted for his birthday. He said stuff that says pop on it. So,
yeah, I did. That's what I said. So
hey, I got you what you wanted.
It was.
Always get gift receipts. That's a good life lesson.
Right.
So there are gift receipts in there if there's anything you need to send back.
Okay.
Let's see. Tim is talking to Wingo Tango here. Now that I'm looking it up, several games are popping up as the first 4-player. Several from the 70s. Yeah, I think there were some games in the 70s that were 4 players. So,
pretty rare back in the 70s.
But it was a thing. So there you go. Okay, guys. Well, all we have left is the news and discussion portion. We've kind of discussed a lot already, but we got some good news going on. Now, Tim, can I pat myself on the back?
You can.
Okay.
You should.
We posted news stories every day since the last live show.
Wow.
On the Facebook and X feeds.
Well, I've noticed been kind of an uptick in those.
Okay. I have purposefully been trying to post something every day. So you will get a lot of arcade news if you're following us now. Before we would post kind of just whenever we thought if it was really special. I was like, now I just need to just throw arcade news out there. If it's even remotely arcade related, I want to throw it out there. Okay. So if you're following us on X or you're following us on Facebook, you're going to get a lot of news. Okay. I'm going to try to continue with what we're doing. So let's see. Tim is asking, has anybody played Arcade Paradise? Tim, have you played that game? That's the one where you make your own arcade.
No.
Yeah, it's like an arcade owner simulator.
I like it.
So
I want to play it. I would love to. There's just nowhere around here to play it.
Yeah, you can get it's on the Oculus. VR. Yeah, you can get the VR, but it has a PC version too, and I think even a console version.
Interesting.
So you can get that. Current Phonograph says happy birthday.
How do you play it? That's what I.
Yeah,
like.
Tim. What platform are you playing it on? That's a good question.
Thank you for the birthday wish.
There we go. Okay, let's get to news. Ooh,
okay,
man. This is exciting. we're having all sorts of fun tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tim, this is something I thought we could get the live chat's opinion on too. I thought we'd get more chime in on the socials, but we didn't. So let's get y'all's opinion, shall we? 80s kids are obsessed with vintage arcade games. Here's what experts want you to know before you buy. This is from housebeautiful.com. Buying a vintage arcade machine involves considering several factors, Tim, including the machine's condition, availability of replacement parts, and the cost of maintenance. It's important to research the specific model and understand the potential challenges of owning and restoring these machines. I know I'm reading this very fast.
Right.
Additionally, buyers should be prepared for the space and electrical requirements that come along with housing a vintage arcade machine. Doesn't that just sound so...
Yeah.
I mean, does it sound like something that you would say?
Yeah.
So here's the question to the live show for those of you guys who have arcade games. What do you think people should know before they buy an arcade game? Tim, I think some of the things people should know is they should always look on the inside to see if there's anything living in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you just never know what's living in these things, right? YouTube Punk says, house beautiful, LOL. Tim says he's playing on PS4, PS5.
Okay,
so you can play on their Xbox. It's available on some. So what do you think people should know? Those of you who have or have owned an arcade game before, what is the one piece of advice that you would give somebody who wanted to buy their first vintage arcade game? That's what I want to know from the live chat. So if you guys have any of that, let us know. Tim, I'll go with you first. What's the one piece of advice?
I always tell everybody you need to, if you want to own one, you need to be prepared to learn how to fix it. Because finding a repair technician is really hard these days. But fortunately, there's good resources like us and other people. Lots of videos out there. If you will dedicate yourself and put a little time, do not expect it to just play and last forever and cause no issues.
Right.
That's what I tell people.
For sure. For me, it would be just make sure that you fully check it out before you buy. Make sure that when you open the back that everything is secure. Make sure that you don't see any wood rot, any wood swelling, of course, that kind of stuff. I mean, those are the things. So just do a full, just kind of walk around it, look at all of the little aspects of it. Make sure that you can find the monitor adjustments. Make sure that you can find, you know how to turn on the dip switches or the test switches, so you know how to get in test mode, or you know how to modify the dip switches to get in test mode if you need to. Like, make sure you familiarize yourself with the cabinet and make sure that it meets your requirements before you buy it. Because Tim, you never know what kind of condition a cabinet is in when you open the back. It could be anything. Correct. So make sure you open that back up and make sure everything is secure in there. Monitor is actually bolted down. Board is actually in place, won't move, all that kind of stuff. Tim, I'm going to the live chat now. Let's see what they're recommending. YouTube Punk says it's never just a fuse except when it is. So there you go. Let's see. Biggie Retro, check for water damage prior to buying. Again, full inspection of the cabinet, guys. Full inspection. Walk around that thing.
Like buying a car. You want to take it for a test drive.
Yep.
Right? And thoroughly look over the condition and stuff like that, because we take a lot of pride in our games. We want them to look and play like new. So if they don't, consider that before making an offer, right?
For sure. Phaser 58 kind of went with what you said. They all will need work. So, just keep that in mind. Tim says make sure it works before you buy it. And I think that's everything. I think that's all good advice. But, I mean, the biggest thing is that make sure you know what you're buying, right? Like, make sure you know what you're buying.
Do a little research. Prices change pretty frequently. Stuff just keeps going up. So I wouldn't be too cheap these days, because if you just don't see games popping up for sale like they used to. We're laughing. You guys would think this is funny. I know where there's was a double dragon I could have bought all day long for $150. I didn't think it was worth it.
Yeah.
And never got it. And now I'll kick myself because I know a lot of you guys would definitely give me $150 for a double dragon. Whether it worked or not, it was complete and it looked good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just, you know how stuff changes. I'm like, I could buy those at auction for $25. Why don't I want to pay $150?
One time.
Right. Sure. Not any time lately, right?
That's right. Joe says it's never just a fuse. Current Phonograph says spare parts are getting expensive. That's true. Dragon Punch Dave says watch lots of arcade repair tips videos. They'll be helpful and will point you in the right direction. I mean, I have to second that for sure.
Right.
Let's see. Check the voltage, Big D Retro says. So that's just some of the advice you guys are giving. I think it's all great advice. But so if you are watching this and you've never owned an arcade game before and you want some advice, there is some for you.
Now, one of the least things, and space I think is good. You got to have room and stuff, especially depending on the type of game. But voltage requirements, electricity requirements, we've proven in the past is really not something people should be worried about.
Right. Unless you've got a ton of games, right?
Yeah, and even if you got a ton, if they're not all playing 24/7, you're still not gonna. It's not gonna up your electric bill that much.
For sure. Okay, so I think that wraps it up for the House Beautiful article, Tim. But I wanted to bring that up just because I thought it'd be interesting to get some live chat feedback on that.
Okay, thank you.
The next piece of news was very interesting, Tim. It's that somebody actually passed the kill screen. Did you hear about this?
I heard about it, but didn't really delve into it much. Didn't really know if it was for real.
It is for real. So Donkey Kong's famed kill screen has been cleared for the first time. Now, Tim, the way they did this was using a glitch. And they had to use an emulator that allowed them to do basically a lot of joystick movements in a second. So basically they were able to slow down the frame rate and then use a glitch to get past it. Does that make sense? So Super Mario Brothers.
Read into this much.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers speedrunner Cosmic has discovered a glitch in Donkey Kong that allows you to get past the standard kill screen on level 22. The speedrunner uses a well-known ladder glitch along with an emulator in frame advance to accomplish this. Otherwise, you'd have to be able to move the joystick back and forth 24 times per second. Okay. Which I think is almost
that sounds impossible.
Not humanly possible.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about really fast, right?
Yeah.
And so, but when you use the emulator to slow down the frame rate, you can get that, right?
Okay.
And so with that, he was able to basically warp past, I think, to level 24. And of course, at that point, the game still glitched.
And nobody's seen level 23 before.
Right, exactly.
Until now.
So well, 23, cool. Yeah, exactly.
He made it through 23, right?
Right, yeah, I think he got to 24. And so, yeah, so basically it warped him past 22, but it's still kill screen, right?
Yeah.
So, but he was able to get past it with the glitch. Now, could somebody do this in real life? That'd be tough, I'd say.
I think so.
But it's really cool that somebody was able to do it, even if it was what we call tool assisted, right? Like he used some tools to do it. Still very cool. Still amazing that somebody was even able to figure something like this out.
So could AI do this?
Oh yeah, I'm sure AI can do
We have to see if AI can get to level 24 or beyond.
Exactly. But it's just a warp glitch. And maybe with the right tools, you could get even further. I don't know. If you found another glitch or something to that effect. So, but I still think it's cool. And congratulations to Cosmic for kind of... He did not... I don't think he came up with the theory, but somebody else came up with the theory and he proved it, basically. And that makes a difference. So,
what fun.
I'm going to come over to the live chat real quick. Tim says, I had a chance to buy a tech scan in almost new condition for only $150 when Sega Center went out of business. I regret not buying it. I remember tech scan. I know that game. Let's see. The one that got away. Yep, the one that got away, like YouTube Punk says. Joe says, Billy has a video waiting to come out when the time is right. So there you go.
Yeah, just waiting to show he could get to level...
That's right, exactly. Level 24, whatever it is, for sure. Now, Tim, I thought this next news story was going to be right up your alley, okay? So this is a guy who's worked at Chuck E. Cheese longer than you. Longer than you did, which is saying a lot, because you worked there a long time. Right?
I did.
So Ben Xavier, he's a breakdancing arcade technician at Salem's Chuck E. Cheese, okay? So this is not, I forget which...
Massachusetts?
No, this is not
Oregon.
Massachusetts. I think it's Oregon.
Oregon, probably.
So Ben Xavier has been an arcade technician at Salem's Chuck E. Cheese for nearly 35 years, ensuring video games and machines run smoothly. Originally from the Micronesian island of Yap, he was a breakdancer in his youth before moving to Salem and teaching himself the skills needed for his current job. Despite his quiet demeanor, Xavier's passion for his work and his mechanical expertise has made him an indispensable part of the arcade. So I just thought it was interesting that this media outlet took time to go interview this Chuck E. Cheese technician and call him a breakdancing arcade technician, even though he hasn't done that in like forever. But still awesome, Tim. What a legacy at Chuck E. Cheese. 35 years is a very long time.
He's seen some stuff. Been around some games, yeah.
Seen some stuff. I think I would use a different stuff word.
Right.
But yeah, exactly.
He definitely has. Probably cleaned up some, too.
But yeah, so I just thought this was cool because, I mean, obviously Chuck E. Cheese has been around a long time. There have been people who have worked there a long time at Chuck E. Cheese, right? So, Tim, how long did you put in at Chuck E. Cheese?
17 years.
I mean, 17 years is nothing to sneeze at either. No. You were there for a very long time as well.
I went back for another 6 months. So
right,
almost 18.
Yeah, so for the most part, but I mean, I just think it's cool that they took time out of their otherwise busy media schedule to feature a arcade technician.
That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. So if we ever are in Salem, Oregon, Tim, I guess we'll meet Ben.
Yeah, we got to go by and do
him.
some dance off with him.
That's exactly correct. So I will go back to the live chat real quick before we go to the next one. Tim says a lot of them got away in the late 80s mini arcades, especially the mom and pop arcades were practically giving machines away to get rid of them. I didn't have room or money. Yeah. I mean, when I got with Tim in the early 2000s, guys, like there were games just everywhere.
Yeah.
People were just getting rid of them. It was, I mean, like the 90s games were
pretty
getting
much
them
by the truckloads.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just a different time.
And renting U-Hauls.
Yeah, exactly. But nowadays, you just don't see them like that.
Pretty
anymore.
rare.
Very rare. So, Big D Retro, I have an opportunity to buy Blasteroid. Your thoughts, since I know the game is very rare. What do you think about Blasteroids?
Love it. It's a good game.
It is a good game.
Get it.
Depending on the price, I think it's probably worth it. It is fun. I like it. It's kind of like a version of Asteroids in a way. So I mean, it's fun. And like you said, it is rare. So just depending on price, I think it's probably worth it, depending on the price.
For sure.
And condition, of course, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, condition you can fix.
That's
Get
true.
the game.
That's
Go
true.
pick it up.
Now, Tim, this was kind of, let's see. Before I go on, YouTube Punk says, I know what I'm doing with a time machine U-Haul truck. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So go back to the early 2000s. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tim, this was a sad event that happened at a main event, Tim. There's a late night shooting at a packed arcade. And this is in Colorado, Tim. Mm-hmm. So there's a late night shooting at a main event location on Saturday, February 8th. A 23-year-old suspect is accused of shooting another female in the chest, causing a panic among patrons. Apparently, Tim, if you read the article, the shooting started in the bathroom and then worked its way out to the arcade.
Wow.
I mean, could you imagine that on a packed Saturday night? That's crazy. The police are investigating the motive behind the shooting and are working to identify the suspects involved. Authorities have increased security measures to prevent further incidents in the area. And this, man, Tim, this is rough. So, guys, you just have to be careful when you're out there at arcades and it's late like this. It doesn't matter. I mean, especially these big family entertainment centers, main events and stuff. I mean, there's crazy people out there.
There's crazy people everywhere. But
exactly. But just, thinking about these people who are affected, we hope that they're...
But how cool is it that we have cameras and stuff today? I'm thinking back in the day, we had so much vandalism and things like that and no way to prove it, or we had old VHS tapes. I used to have to watch security tapes back at Chuck E. Cheese back in the day, and they were real grainy and hard to look and stuff. Today is so much nicer.
For sure. Joe says, I couldn't give away games back in the 90s. Yeah, I mean, sometimes like when arcades would close, there was nobody who wanted to take them, and that was very common. So let's see. Okay, Tim, let's go to this next one. This is just kind of, this is about Golden Tee, but not so much about Golden Tee, more about Incredible Technologies. And Tim, we talk a lot about Incredible Technologies because they are the manufacturer of Golden Tee, is probably their biggest hit, I would say. But they are releasing now these Arcade Go systems. Okay, so they had a Golden Tee Go, but they're portable systems, Tim, that you just hook up via HDMI to any TV. You can take them anywhere. You plug them in, hook them up HDMI, hook them up to the network, and you can play Golden Tee anywhere.
Nice.
Now, this is for their arcade collection, which features Silver Strike Bowling, Power Putt Golf, and Target Toss Pro. These are their less popular games. I mean, I would say that Silver Strike is pretty big.
Yeah.
But Power Putt Golf and Target Toss Pro, those are pretty big as well, but they're not as big as Golden Tee. Right?
No.
So, but they have done a home console version of these games. This device allows users to play on any TV with an HDMI connection and offers flexibility and convenience. It retains the familiar trackball control system, which ensures an authentic arcade experience. And the price is about $3,000 and is available to purchase on the Incredible Technologies website. Tim, this is like a portable arcade unit.
Yeah,
that's what you have to remember. So $3,000 is a lot of money, but this is a portable arcade unit.
Well, it doesn't come with a game.
I mean, it comes with 3 games. It doesn't come with a monitor.
I mean, with a... Yeah, that's pretty steep.
It is. But if you're a die-hard Silver Strike Bowling or Golden Tee guy,
Yeah.
I mean, the Golden Tee version I think is $35.
I buy all three of those games and have the big stand-up version in my arcade.
Yeah, but you can't take that to a buddy's house very easily. That's what I'm saying. You can hold that thing anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can take it to the office, take it home with you. You know, you got.
Be interesting to see how many of these they sell.
Yeah,
that's a hefty price.
It is, but you got to remember it's original arcade hardware too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like you're playing on the cheapy hardware, right?
Right.
So I mean, you're playing Golden Tee, you're playing Silver Strike Bowling.
It's going to have to be about $4.99 to hit my interest.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not for you. I would say.
No, not for me.
Okay, now Tim, this article we've already covered just en masse because I did the interview, of course, earlier with Matthew from Nintendo Wire. But I just want to mention that again here so people would know about it if they haven't already seen it. But apparently, Chuck E. Cheese is debuting this new mall arcade concept called Chuck's Arcade, which utilizes their retro 80s imagery. Okay, so Chuck E. Cheese is launching a new mall arcade concept called Chuck's Arcade, which will feature retro 80s imagery and is set to open in the Mall of Georgia and Pheasant Lane Mall first. The new venture is a part of CC Entertainment Concepts, Tim, which is kind of a branch that creates and develops innovative arcade experiences, is what it says. The concept aims to attract both nostalgic adults and new generations of gamers by combining classic arcade aesthetics with modern gaming technology. Now, Tim, I mentioned this. I did the interview with Matthew Powers, who wrote the article.
Yes.
And if you haven't seen that, it's here on YouTube. It was about 2 weeks ago. We posted it.
Y'all need to look that up if you haven't seen it. That's really interesting.
It's about 30 minutes, and me and him kind of just talked about some of the things that we thought, what would it look like? And now we've got some pictures, Tim. There have been some pictures posted to Reddit, which I also put in that video description if you haven't seen those. But Tim, we have talked about this ad nauseum, I feel like, that they should have been leaning into their 80s nostalgia hard for a long time. Yeah, and they've been reluctant to do it.
Right.
I mean, as a former employee, why do you think that is? Why do you think they were so reluctant to lean in until now into this nostalgic 80s factor?
I think they had this idea that the way they were just trying to reach a new generation of kid, but they were forgetting where they came from. You're forgetting your roots, trying to be so innovative, new, come up with new concepts. And for a while there, we were so tired. It's like they just kept throwing stuff on the wall to see what would stick. Technology was moving really rapidly. They were going to tokenless games and stuff. But so many people would come in and say, oh, I miss the old skee ball. I miss this game or that game. And so to me, I still think they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I still think that there's not a whole arcade concept. They could just have a nostalgia room or somewhere, But they're not paying me for my ideas, and but maybe it'll work. I don't know. I would definitely go to one if I saw one. I would want to go and visit it. What's your guys' experiences with that? I think for years and years they worked so hard on. They wanted to be more of a pizza place, like where you would go because you wanted the pizza.
Right.
And I've said this over and over and over again till I'm blue in the face. You are an arcade that sells pizza.
Yeah.
You're not Pizza Hut, which is a pizza place that has a few arcade games. You are an arcade. That's what you're known for
sure.
Is your games. And I miss the band. I miss a lot of things. I still think that there is, and I think even in Chuck's Arcade, there would be people that would go for that nostalgia. Or you're now into that era where let me show my kids what it was like when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. But you still like to play arcade games. So do I. And, here I am approaching retirement age. We're fixing to have a whole group of seniors out there who grew up playing classic arcade games.
Yeah.
So, and that spend money and like to still have fun and go on dates and do those things. So, I don't know. I hope it works out good for them. I think it's long overdue, but I have always thought they would just do as well having an area for adults to hang out in. We said for years, go to Chuck E. Cheese on a playoff football game. See how many people are there.
Yeah.
Die-hard people who hate football.
Yeah.
I mean, the Super Bowl, they might as well close, right? If they just had a couple TVs for the adults, I don't think the dads would mind going as much. And it just does not resonate somewhere with them while Dave and Buster's is making a killing on those
They
days.
do. Yeah, for sure.
Just my opinion.
Yeah, and Tim, here's the thing, though. We are seeing remakes now of all of these old games. So there's new versions, updated versions of everything. You got things like
cool.
Space Invaders Frenzy. Last month we talked about the new Missile Command, which looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Asteroids Recharged. You've got that. You've got the world's largest Pac-Man. You've got Pac-Man Battle Royale. So you can make a retro quote-unquote arcade out of all new games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But one of the things when me and Matthew talked, he really wanted them to bring back tokens. And I was like, I don't think that'll ever happen.
No.
Just because of the way that the card systems work, it's fantastic. You can do half-price games. Your auditing is easier. I was like, Tim used to spend an entire Monday morning just counting tokens. I used to tell him that.
Yes.
So,
oh, my gosh. Probably still, I had to get up and stretch a minute ago. I think I still have back injuries from counting bags of tokens.
But you know what they should do? They should make the cards round and look like a Chuck E. Cheese token.
Yeah.
To where when you tap it, it's like you're putting the quarter in. You're bringing the token in, right? Like I would make it look double-sided, just like a Chuck E. Cheese token, and then just tap it like the normal card, but make them round.
Yeah, I love this.
See, and make it look like a Chuck E. Cheese token. I think that'd be awesome. So I think that's what they should do. But that's just me. Lean into the nostalgia hard and
you heard it here first.
Yeah, exactly. And
Jonathan's idea.
Exactly, and put all of the new updated classics in there. You know what I'm saying? Put those in there, and I think you'd have a lot of people coming in. So,
but if you just have that. You know, like their Chuck's Arcade.
Right.
I don't know that you're going to, I don't know. We'll see. You know, I get it. You know, I mean, people say, well, you know, I don't like all the stupid redemption games. Well, kids do.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, there's some redemption games that made way more. We were talking about top.
Cyclone.
Yeah. Top 10 games here. Smoking Token would blow all of those away, and it's a simple game. I mean, man,
Tower
guys,
Power,
yeah.
Cyclone.
We had games we had to pull. We had full buckets. We would have to pull twice or three times on spring break week because they would overflow.
Yep.
In 1 week. We're talking, 12, 15,000, 20,000 plays in 1 week.
That's crazy.
1 week.
Golly.
Think about it.
Okay, going back to the live chat here, Tim. We're about to wrap it up, but I want to get over here. GTA 5 Best Moment says he would only pay $2.99 for the arcade collection. Go from
at $29.99. Just outrageous.
Messman Live says, "Happy birthday, Tim! What's up, guys? Greetings from the Netherlands.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Tom. Thank you for being here, Tom. Golly,
hey, Tom.
what time is it in the Netherlands?
Right. Thank you for staying up, brother.
That's right.
Hanging in there.
GTA 5 Best Moments. Biggest arcade in Wisconsin.
4
does
in the
not
morning.
have any retro games, only token games. So, or it says does not have any retro games, only tokens games. It says I have a decent arcade token collection. YouTube Punk says they're relics from better times. That's for sure. Do you have one of ours?
You beat me to it. Do you have one of ours?
Do you have one of ours?
If not, you email us and let us know.
I think I have some somewhere.
I've got one. I'll send you.
Nate says, I have a large jar of rejected tokens being used in my arcade. I'm sure lots of operators have a random collection of bad tokens. Yeah, man, golly, we had tons of them at one time. Big D Retro, going back to the Blasteroids, Tim, he says it's in great condition, solid, but missing some graphics. Graphics are attainable, so no biggie. What would be a fair offer to buy? Ooh, that's tough. Golly, if it's in really great condition, I mean, Blasteroids are going for high prices now.
Yeah. Does it say it's working?
Yeah, I mean, he says it's got graphics issues.
Okay, graphics issues.
Yeah, graphics issues.
I treat that's a non-working game, right? It may take $10 to fix it, may take $200.
Right.
Take that in consideration. It is a non-working game, less than $500.
I would go 5. I was about to say 5 would be my number.
I don't pay much more than that for a non-working game.
If I really wanted, I may bump 6.
Yeah,
and maybe even higher. It depends on how bad I want it.
If they want more than that, they need to fix it, and then you can talk to them about it. But you never know with those. It could be a lot of issues just because you're seeing a glitch like that. Okay.
Netherlands time, Tim, is 2:15 a.m.
I was thinking of 4, so good.
There we go. Let's see. YouTube Punk, yes, you can plug your Etsy shop. Feel free to put a link there if it'll let you. Sometimes YouTube's weird about that, but try it if you can. Big D Retro says side graphics issue, gameplay is great. Besides that. So there you go. Yeah, I think anywhere from 500 if you really, really badly want it, maybe 7. I mean, that probably 7 would be my high markup for me, but it's up to you. So, okay, we're done.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, we're not done, but
Done.
we'll go ahead and put this up here real quick. Just a reminder, guys, we want your arcade-related videos. If you want some free advertising for your YouTube channel, we're looking for people to submit your videos 10 minutes or less about arcade-related topics. Send the link of your video to questions@arcaderepairtips.com. Our staff will review it. If we like it, we'll use it during one of our live show episodes. Make sure to put a plug in for your channel so people will know where to find you, and we look forward to seeing your submissions. And Tim, this is also going to be where I'm going to mention the thing about episode 100. So if you want free advertising for your YouTube channel, podcast, whatever else, your Etsy, whatever else that you do, all you have to do is either send an audio clip, video clip, text message to us saying congratulations on this is like in YouTube Punk's case, this is YouTube Punk, who runs the Arcade Relics page on Etsy, wishing Tim and Jonathan a happy 100th episode, something to that effect. You can text it to us. Voicemail. Yeah, you can send it to our voicemail 972 the number 8 AR tips or 972-827-8477. You can send it there, or you can text it to us. You can email us, or you can send us a video. It's up to you. You have a whole bunch of options here. But if you'd like to congratulate us on our 100th, we will play those before the 100th episode starts. So if you'd like to do that, we'd love to play those. And like I said, put it in what you're from. This is so-and-so from podcast. This is so-and-so from this YouTube channel. This is so-and-so who has this Etsy shop. We want to throw some promotion your way if you're going to send some love our way. So,
yeah, thank you.
So 100th episode, congratulations. Send those via voicemail or text or email or YouTube video or wherever you want to do it. Questions@arcaderepairtips.com or 972-827-8477 if you'd rather do that. So. Okay, Tim, let's talk about contact information real quick. We have our general email at questions@arcaderepairtips.com, questions@arcaderepairtips.com. Of course, if you put live show on the subject, we will save it for the live show. Otherwise, we will try to get around to it whenever we get around to it. But again, our email address is questions@arcaderepairtips.com. We have our YouTube page at youtube.arcaderepairtips.com. Of course, everybody in the live chat knows that, Tim. But maybe you're listening to this on the Question and Answer podcast feed, and if you are, you should check out our YouTube page at youtube.arcaderepairtips.com and make sure that you look up this episode, which is episode 97, and check for the after show, because we do not put that up on the audio podcast feed. And of course, comments from the last live show will be covered on the next episode. Again, youtube.arcaderepairtips.com. We have our podcast feed for our audio podcast. We have our live shows, our interviews, question and answer podcasts, etc. can all be found on our podcast feed, and you can subscribe either via iTunes at itunes.arcaderepairtips.com, Spotify at spotify.arcaderepairtips.com, or Audible at audible.arcaderepairtips.com. And the one thing those all have in common, Tim, is you can leave us a review on all three. So if you are so inclined, leave some reviews on our podcast feed. We'd love to read those, see those, maybe read them here on the live show even, and just overall, we love those reviews. So please give us reviews if you haven't before, either on iTunes, Spotify, or Audible, or whatever your podcast feeder of choice is. So, and then we have our social media pages, Tim, and I've mentioned that I've been really busy posting news up there, so hopefully you guys are enjoying that. But you can follow all of that great news on our Facebook page at facebook.arcaderepairtips.com or on our Twitter/X feed at twitter.arcaderepairtips.com. Make sure you guys subscribe there. And Tim, I'm going to continue to try to post something every single day. Okay, so that means every single day you're going to get a piece of arcade-related news if you follow us.
Wow.
So, facebook.arcaderepairtips.com or twitter.arcaderepairtips.com to follow us on our social media pages. Okay, Tim, before we go, I want to wrap up what we did. We answered some questions.
Right.
We had a bracket of the best, highest-grossing arcade game of all time, and Miss Pac-Man won.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler. We celebrated Tim's birthday, and we talked a lot of news and discussion, and hopefully you were here for all of it.
Yeah.
So, but thank you guys for joining us tonight. Absolutely fantastic live chat tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause, a pat on the back, whatever you want to do. Self-high five, whatever it is, let's do it. But great live chat tonight, Tim. I can't say enough about you guys. It was awesome having you guys here tonight. And if you guys this is your first time here, we do an after show that happens immediately after the live show where we basically talk about anything, like no topics are off limits. And so if you stay tuned for about 5 minutes after the regular live show, we'll get to the after show after that. And Tim, maybe we'll play the full wrap, the full new intro for the Arcade Repair Tips live show.
Yeah, we've already got a
show.
question.
So there we go.
Rap song.
Yeah, rap time. So yeah, we'll play the whole song maybe in the after show. So if you guys want to stay tuned for that, you can. Of course, anything during the after show, there's no topic that's off limits. We still take arcade repair questions there, but we do also talk about sports. We talk about, we're going to be talking about some MLB spring training, some NBA, NHL, I will also be talking about TV shows. Tim, I am wearing a shirt for a certain TV show that you guys may be familiar with. Tim, did you finish up the end of Cobra Kai?
I did.
So we will be talking about that because both of us have finished it now. So, and no spoilers on what we thought, but I will say that overall, the ride was good. That's all I'm going to say. We'll talk more specifics in the after show if you guys want to stay tuned. Tim, anything else here before we exit the regular show and into the after show?
I'm kind of excited to get to the after show, so thank you for following us this far, and stick around if you can.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you, live chat. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We really do appreciate it. Happy birthday, Tim, again.
Thank you.
And remember, here at Arcade Repair Tips, when you fix the game,
you play the game.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you here in about 5 minutes for the after show, or we'll see you next month for our next live show. Take care, everybody. See you soon.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Arcade Repair Tips live show. All of our past episodes are available on our website at arcaderepairtips.com or on our YouTube page. This show is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please consult a professional before attempting to repair any coin-operated machines yourself. The preceding program is a Varcade Entertainment production.
Okay, we're back. So we're in the after show for episode 97. Tim, I thought it was a great show.
I think
We had a
so.
good time.
We enjoyed hanging out with you guys. How did you like it?
Yeah, exactly.
We kind of a little bit different. Some stuff we tried tonight, and but that's okay. We're not stuck in a rut.
Well, I was thinking, it's like we were short on questions. I'm like, well, I could take some of the older questions and reuse them, but I'm like, it's more fun to do something different. So let's do the bracket. And I think the bracket turned out really well.
I think so.
So
it was fun.
So for those of you guys who did not hear the new intro, I'll play that, and then I'll play the whole new song.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, if you missed the intro tonight,
we did something different.
We'll just play it.
Yeah, so this is what the intro sounded like this evening. If you didn't hear before I go, YouTube Punk says couldn't wait, so I went back to the beginning and listened to the rap. It slaps. So Joe Holt says 100th episode. Tim dresses in a Pasquale costume for the whole episode.
Okay,
I think that's good. So okay, well let me play the intro real quick. If you haven't heard it yet, I'll go ahead and play it.
Tim and Jonathan, legends of the game. Fixing cabinets, bringing back the fame. Joystick smooth, buttons never lame. Arcade revival, making classics acclaim. Pixel by pixel, we resurrect. Old school vibes, nothing we neglect. From Pac-Man mazes to Donkey Kong's trek. Tim and John, arcade repair tips, respect.
Broadcasting from their world headquarters in Texas, it's the Arcade Repair Tips Live Show. The show that discusses arcade repair, restoration, news, and more. Now, here are your hosts, Tim and Jonathan.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so I mixed that, and I wanted to have a little bit of a teaser in there, like, like it sounds like the original, and then boom, right?
Yeah.
Get a little record scratch, and then we're into something new. Now I have the whole song.
Yeah, there's more.
There's the entire song, and this was made with AI, so this is an AI song. So if you guys want to hear the whole song, I'll play it. I'll wait for the live. So if you're in the live chat, if I get a couple people who really want to hear the whole thing, then we can hear the whole thing. So just let me know and we'll play it. But I want to go ahead while we're waiting on that, Tim, and come over and see the live chat here. YouTube Punk says, have you heard the Whack-A-Mole song?
No.
I have not.
I have not. We'll look it up. We'll have to send it to us or something. We'll look it up.
10 Force could create an awesome rap for you guys. Tech Force. I'm not sure about Tech Force. I don't know. I don't need either. Joe says I dig the new song. So there you go. We'll just play it. I want to hear it. So right. So this again, AI song, and the lyrics aren't bad. I thought I did pretty good for the most part. So let me see if I've got it here. Okay, let's listen to it.
1, 2, 3, 1. Tim and Jonathan, legends of the game. Fixing cabinets, bringing back the fame. Joystick smooth, buttons never lame. Arcade revival, making classics acclaim. Pixel by pixel, we resurrect. Old school vibes, nothing we neglect. From Pac-Man mazes to Donkey Kong's trek. Tim and John, arcade repair tips, respect. Circuits and wires, they know them all. From broken screens to stalls with no calls. Pinball wizards, every rise, every fall. Resurrecting fun, answering the arcade call. Pixel by pixel, we resurrect. Old school vibes, nothing we neglect. From Pac-Man mazes to Donkey Kong's trek. Tim and John, arcade repair tips, respect. With a twist of a wrench, they bring back life. Joystick healers, cutting through the strife. Core slots ready, avoiding any knife. Arcade surgeons, keeping classics rife. Coin jam, no prob, they dig it out. PCB repairs, they know what it's about. Fluorescent lights, they clear the doubt. Tim and John, arcade repair clout.
Dig the dropout too.
With a twist of a wrench, they bring back life. Joystick healers, cutting through the strife. Quarter slots ready, avoiding any knife. Arcade surgeons, keeping classics rife. wrench, they bring back life. Joystick healers, cutting through the strife. Quarter slots ready, avoiding any knife. Arcade surgeons, keeping classics right. With a twist of a wrench, they bring back life. Joystick healers, cutting through the strife. Quarter slots ready, avoiding any knife. Arcade surgeons, keeping classics rife.
Twist of a wrench, they bring back life. Joystick healers, cutting through the strife. Quarter slots ready, avoiding any knife. Arcade surgeons, keeping classics rife.
So there's the full thing.
All right. So now you've heard it.
There you go. AI is good for something, Joe. That's what he said. It is absolutely good. That is really good. AI has gotten really good. Have you noticed this?
Yeah, it's just kind of a fun thing. We've actually played around with several different versions. Maybe we'll introduce some more. Maybe. And whatever your genre is.
I know, we're getting more camera flipping. Like, I do an update to my computer, and it's like I start getting camera flipping again.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to fix it again. Like, there's a setting that gets changed every time I do an update to my freaking computer. So we'll get that changed, and then it should, like, the little blinking should go away again. So, it's just, it is what it is kind of thing. Still working on that. But yeah, I thought it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And we have been playing with some other ones too. Maybe we'll play a different one next month. I don't know.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, that one, that one really hits. Let's see. Joe says joystick healers. I totally buy that shirt. The lyrics are really good. I feel like.
Yeah.
What is it? Coin slots jam. They dig it out. PCB repair. They know what it's about. I was like, that's pretty good.
With a twist of a wrench.
Yeah, exactly. They bring
know.
back life.
Yeah. We don't use a wrench that much, but hey.
We have a wrench on the logo, though.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, typically.
I think that's where AI really digs into us a little bit. No soldering mentioned in there.
No soldering.
I don't know.
Yeah. But still, I like it. It's good.
I don't know if we're top 40 yet, but, we do our share.
So maybe we'll do something different next time.
Yeah.
If you have ideas for, like, a genre that we should go for,
Yeah.
we played with some. I like rap, obviously. So, hip hop kind of thing. And so that's why we did that.
80s vibe one.
Yeah, we did an 80s vibe. We did a hair band.
One.
A hair metal one.
You want to hear that one? We'll have it coming up.
Yeah, then next month we'll do the hair metal one. I was trying to think of what other ones we did. We just did kind of some random ones. So
kind of a hard rock one.
Yeah, there's a harder. I thought about country. We are in Texas.
Yeah, we can do a country.
Maybe we should do a country. You guys want a country arcade repair? A country arcade repair.
Well, that would fit my twang, I'm sure.
There you go. So we could do something like that. I don't know, but maybe we'll play around with it some more and see.
Anyway, thank you guys for
hopefully you like it.
For tolerating, if nothing else. I think we have a lot of fun. You guys. I think sometimes, and that's what you're kind of getting a peek behind the curtain. Realistically, that's what we do most of the time when we're filming videos and stuff. We're having a lot of fun. Yep. We don't film. We try to film and be serious, but there's tons of bloopers and just fun we're having. Just talk. We like to talk about games ourselves and just our life experiences and different things. So anyway, thank you guys for just tolerating, and we're in the after show now where we can talk just about anything. We'll still answer some questions if you have them.
Yep.
I would like to where we want to start with this tonight, guys.
So usually I start with how'd your February go and March plans. Now we know how your February went pretty much. Now you were trying to stay close to home because of the baby.
Yes, I haven't been traveling very much. Fortunately, I've had a lot of work to do in the area. I even saved a lot for right around there when the time she was born. For those of you who don't know, I have never had any biological children. I've raised 3 kids that I treated and consider them my own, and I think they would say the same. So I've never been around a tiny baby, and I feel like I'm going to break her, and she's just so little. I'm just guys that are parents. It's just amazing. One minute this thing is inside my daughter, and the next minute it's out breathing air and dependent on us for every single thing. Yep. And I want to protect her, and I don't know that I can love I love my wife, and I love her mom. My my granddaughters, but seeing that kid for the first time, talking about falling in love with somebody, and just knowing that I'm a lifetime to the day I die, that's going to be one of my favorite people ever. And so she's already spoiled. She's already getting lots of attention. I showed Jonathan I bought a little chair for outside, even though she can't sit in it yet. Somebody said she won't sit in that for about a year. I'm like, it'll be there when she's ready.
That's right.
We're going to sit out on the back porch. We've already got some arcade plans, and stuff, how we're going to redo the game room. Got to be safety. I got tons of tools and stuff out there I got to clean up.
For sure.
It changes your perspective on life. And if you have children, or access to children, maybe you're an aunt or an uncle or something, and those are great things. It really does take a village.
Yep.
It takes a lot of people to be involved in their life, and so I am just enjoying. It's like the worst day I've had a couple of really bad days where just some stuff didn't go wrong, and I'm like, I get to see that little face as soon as I get home, makes everything better. And I think that if you've never experienced that joy, volunteer, help out somewhere. Man, I'm so over the moon excited about helping raise her.
Now, when's the last time you had your TDAP?
Had what?
Your TDAP. Tetanus, diphtheria.
I've had all of that probably about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And so I'm pretty caught up.
Okay.
But we are being very careful.
Every 10 years.
Yeah, we do not kiss her in the face, those type of things that we did when I was a kid, and you got a baby, you threw them in the back seat and didn't even have
Well, and I should say for our arcade repair people that the TDAP is very important for y'all too, because tetanus is part of that. And as arcade repair people, we're dealing with rusty metal a lot. So you should be getting your TDAP every 10 years.
Mine's about 5 years old.
Right. So if you're 5 years, you still got 5 years left. But then it also does the whooping cough, which was particularly bad for babies if babies get it.
I say I've never been around one except for one other time. My nephew that was born, the Brandon, the one that draws, I was around when he was a little baby, and he had whooping cough and was in the hospital and almost died from it. It was so serious, and I didn't think he was going to make it. I remember spending all night with him in the hospital one night so his mom and dad could have a little sleep. Yep. And I stayed up all night with him. So anyway,
I got my booster last. So I had my first one when Olivia was born, my daughter. Or I had my booster when Olivia was born, and then I just had mine last year. So I'm good for another 9 years. But it's a vaccine that you can get. And like I said, if you're dealing with arcade machines like we are, and you're dealing with rusty metal, it's just a really good thing to have anyway. So just make sure that you're caught up on that if you're not already. Especially if you're dealing with babies, because like whooping cough can be very, very bad for them. And so if you have the vaccine, that hopefully will prevent you from getting it, and then you won't pass it on to babies.
Passing it on to them, yeah.
So like I said, it is what it is.
So February is one of my best months ever in my life, if you want to know the truth. And then to carry that on into my birthday, I had a great birthday. Tons of, even a lot of you that on Facebook and stuff wish me happy birthday. At some point you realize, you're not looking forward to being 25 and your insurance going down, or maybe your 30th, even your 40th and stuff. You start realizing that they don't have to be there. I may not, they're not guaranteed every year. And so every time you have one, I used to be kind of like, oh, it's my birthday, you don't have to get me nothing. No, I'm like, we need to celebrate every chance we get. We celebrate you, and we'll celebrate you next month, Jonathan. And so, it's like we really, I'm at that stage. No, I think I want a party. Yep. I want a cake. I want people to say happy birthday. It's one of the easiest things that we can do to honor. Everybody has not everybody has a birthday, right? Mm-hmm. So we just appreciate you guys. Hope if any of you are having birthdays this month, happy birthday to you also. There we go. Our next live show will be April 3rd. Will actually be the day before my birthday. Day before. We'll be close enough. Yeah, close enough, I guess. So YouTube Punk was telling us about that Whack-A-Mole song. It's a parody of Lil Nas X's Old Town Road. So let's check that out. We'll look that up. Joe says, my small German kids arcade techs have great immune systems. Yes. Exactly. You have to be. You never know what you're gonna come up against. So, my first day ever at Chuck E. Cheese. First day.
First day.
The first thing they teach you to do, because you don't know really how to do much else. I mean, I knew how to fix games, but they teach you to how to check everybody in, right? Hi, welcome to Chuck E. Cheese. Are you celebrating anything special? You know, we're going to put a stamp on your hand so everybody leaves together. All that. First kid walks up to me. I said, hey, welcome to Chuck E. Cheese. And he looked at me and went, look, and threw up all over my new pants, brand new shoes, threw up everywhere. And because he was sick, and his mom brought him to Chuck E. Cheese, and he gave it to all of us. So, you know, it was like, that was my very first experience. I don't know if it was an omen or what, but it was, you know, I was like, yeah, this will be fun.
There you go.
So,
well, I mean, it is what it is, Tim. I mean, that's part of, if you're going to be around arcade games, kids are probably going to come with the territory as well. So, like we talked about. Let's see. Any March plans? Anything else for the rest of March?
Spring break is coming up. You know, Texas.
And you don't have to work at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes, thank God for that. Texas Pinball Festival is coming up, and I don't think I cannot go for the whole weekend. But now that Landon lives in Fort Worth, I'm really thinking about maybe going up for Saturday night.
Okay.
Maybe if it'll work out. You know, with the little one here, we got to stay home. But I got some stuff I need to do. We may just sneak up and go up there for the night or something. So I hope you guys, if you're there, maybe Saturday morning, I can just go up and go to the outside show or something. You know, what do they call it? The not trade show, but
I know shotgun.
Man, why my mind is so blank today.
Swap meet.
Swap meet. Yeah, I may go to the swap meet. I would really love to make an appearance. You know,
it's been forever.
I've just been so every year. And one of my excuses was it was one of the busiest times of the year. And now but even my work, we're still so busy. Everything's something's always going on.
For sure. Joe says germ detectors built into CEC hand stampers. Just saying.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was a good idea.
For sure. Let's see. I mean, February was good for us. I mean, I don't think we did anything super special. We had Valentine's Day, of course. So I mean, me and my wife did our Valentine's Day stuff. You know, March is my wife's birthday, so we're going to do some stuff with her in March. And got a wedding on Saturday. We're going to go to a wedding.
Huh.
So that's always good.
Yeah.
Spring break, you mentioned that. So I'm gonna be home with my kids for 2 of those days, working from home, and I think my wife will take over after that. So we're gonna kind of split the week, I guess. You know, since we have kids off school. I don't think we don't really have any plans per se. We may go. I mean, we have like a pass to the zoo here, so we may go to the zoo. Maybe
I've heard they have a new exhibit. I want to
I don't
go
know
check
if it's
that
open
out.
yet. That's a good question.
Somebody said it was open today. I saw that post, so I'm like, maybe check that out.
Let's go ahead and talk about investments and how everything is really sucking right now.
Yeah.
So,
you know,
tariffs have sucked the economy down.
Yeah, I think there's you know, the big key word is uncertainty.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I think and the way I'm looking at it, good time to buy.
Yeah.
I have been reloading.
Yeah, now's a good time to buy. Everything's on sale. It's like everything's on sale.
I have been
guys.
reloading.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I've been reloading, especially on successful companies that are just down right now.
And that is the key. What Tim just said is very true. Successful companies that are down right now,
they're not
great
doing
time
bad.
to invest. That's right. So I mean, like Nvidia dropped below the 117 mark. I would highly recommend Nvidia if it continues to drop. But I mean, Walmart, Target, stuff like that. I mean, that you know is going to come back up. Square's a great company. Roku, stuff like that you know is going to come back up eventually. Now's a great time to buy. So uncertainty. That's right. And YouTube Punk says uncertainty, instability. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. It's all going to get worked up, and these good companies are still going to be good companies at the end of the day. I think so. Microsoft was down as well, Tim.
Ooh, Microsoft announcing a new chip and stuff. There's a lot of new tech. Apple's going to invest a lot of money and stuff.
Yep.
There's some new stuff coming around the corner. So I'm definitely, you know, I talked to you about a stock the other day I wanted to buy in, and it's a tenth of a penny right now. I'm like, I'm going to buy a few hundred shares or 100,000 shares.
Yeah, right. If it's a tenth
go
of a
for
penny,
there.
right.
Go from there. I'm not going to lose a lot, but I may gain.
There you go.
Good time to buy. I would not be too worried.
Yeah.
I wouldn't panic right now.
I think we're gonna
dump my
figure all this out.
401k.
Yeah, I was about to say. Nate says, kind of sad they took all the U.S. liquor and other items off the shelves and putting Canadian stickers next to the products to make sure we don't buy U.S. And Nate lives in Canada.
Right.
So he says, I've heard Roku making some bad decisions, anti-consumer stuff. Roku will find their way. I feel like, if you don't want to support that, that's fine. But I do think from a stock standpoint, I do think that they will be okay. And that's just me speculating, of course. So.
And I'm a little bit worried about Netflix. I think at some point they're about to price themselves. I mean, you had to cut them a while back, and we kind of went back. And I know it's almost like we can't live without them. And thank God for Cobra Kai and things like that. But boy, if they go up $1 more, it's like at some point I'm just gonna have to say no.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I did for 2 months, and I was able to do it. But they brought me back with Raw. We're WWE people,
right?
So, I can't help that. But
it's just getting ridiculous. I'm worried that they might price themselves out.
Nate says he hopes this all goes away soon. I think it will. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Joe says, "Good night, guys. Great show." P.S. Kawasaki has doubled my money the past 5 years.
Nice.
So come jump on board. There you go. There's a good tip for you guys.
Thank you.
So we also hope all this will go away, and I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time. And so I think the tariffs are temporary until things get sorted out. And so once things get sorted out, I think we'll be.
We already put some of them on hold.
Like the car ones.
Yeah,
the car ones. We'll see.
We don't talk a lot of politics and stuff. But one thing, it doesn't do any good.
And it sounds like
I'm not a politician. So.
Right. Nate agrees with us. This is absolutely dumb. I'm sure everything will be back to the way it was in a few months. That is correct. So,
we'll see.
part of this that I don't think people realize is part of the reason for the tariffs is to cut down on the drugs that are coming over all the borders.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it. That's not the whole thing.
I hope that in some way, I'm optimistic that and I hope the war in Ukraine ends. I want to see this stuff happen.
Right.
And Palestinian war. I want to see better times, regardless of who is president or regardless of who I'm pulling for. I'm for humans, and I want everybody to. I just wish people could just get along better. Yeah. I see so much hate on every side, and I'm tired. I'm tired of the hate and the just. Yeah, I don't know. We love arcade games. I want everybody to play them and have a fun time.
That's true.
My granddaughter, she doesn't care what side of the aisle on. She just cares. She's only going to care that Pops loves and cares about her and plays games with her.
Let's see. YouTube Punk says Canada and Mexico are our allies and best trading partners. That is true. It comes down to a trade deficit, and I don't know. I mean, it really depends on how you feel about trade deficits.
Yeah.
There's this thing where we take a lot more products from Canada and Mexico than they take from us, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a philosophy that says that we should balance that, and I mean, it depends on if you believe in that philosophy or not. Nate Burke says I like to drink Pepsi products. Me too. Pepsi's my favorite. People talk about Coke. I'm a Pepsi guy. You're a Coke guy.
Yeah,
I'm a Pepsi guy.
I like Diet Pepsi. Way better than any other diet drink. But I don't really like Pepsi. Is that weird? But you know why? Because it kind of tastes more like Pepsi than Diet Coke tastes like Coke.
Yeah.
Coke Zero is my favorite.
So I think I'll let you have one. The real sugar Pepsi.
Yeah.
That's what you should be drinking all the time.
Right.
Real sugar Pepsi. They have the stuff that's made with the real sugar cane. You can get it's a little bit more expensive. Buy that. That's the good stuff. Man, it's so good. Let's see. YouTube Punk less than 1%.
I missed the commercials back in the day. Why did Pepsi had a cool commercial in a while?
Yeah, they used to.
They just don't have any.
Remember the Pepsi challenge? I was telling my wife about this. Remember the Pepsi challenge was a big deal, like in the 80s. Like they would put Coke and Pepsi, and people would drink both, and they prefer Pepsi.
Yeah, and Michael Jackson had the Pepsi commercial. His hair caught on fire.
Right. And Nate says he likes 7-Up better than Sprite. Not a Pepsi Coke, but 7-Up better than Sprite.
Okay.
So there you go. So I'm actually the opposite on that. I like Sprite better than 7-Up, personally. So
tomato to me.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, I mean, all this I think is gonna get sorted. It's just a matter of time. It's a little. I feel like it's a tiff. Just to shake things up, right?
Maybe.
So it'll work itself out. Going on to sports talk, Tim. Let's never talk about the Dallas Mavericks ever again.
No, we don't care about them anymore.
Yes. I'm done. So after the Luka trade, Tim.
Yeah.
And then now Kyrie is on the shelf for the rest of the season. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear.
So Anthony Davis is not coming back. I mean, our injury list looks. I mean, it's longer than the healthy list. I feel like I'm done. So it was really great being a Dallas Mavericks fan. I enjoyed it. It was good times. I enjoyed my Luka 1 shoes, and I'm done.
I just feel like somebody in the Cowboys organization is kind of running things there too, or something.
No, I
don't know what. We can't pick up a free agent to save our lives in Dallas
no,
for
we
anything.
Can't. No, we can't.
That's worth anything.
Anyway, the Dallas Mavericks are playing games. I'm not interested. I did watch the Lakers game, the first one with Luka in LA. It was good. It was very interesting. I didn't feel like Luka played his best. He wasn't at his best, but when you have LeBron on the floor with you, you don't have to be your best.
No, he's got some pretty good supporting cast there. They're going to be pretty good down the stretch.
Yeah, they're going to be fun to watch. I may watch Lakers. I'm not going to be a fan, but I'll watch them.
Yeah.
So just because I like Luka still.
I do too.
Who trades Luka?
Yeah,
Stop it. Right. We're not living in a real reality right now.
I'm watching more old school Larry Bird clips and everything. I just love watching the old videos, remembering what it was like.
Right. So let's talk about hockey. The Stars are good.
Okay.
So if you want to watch a good Dallas team, watch the Stars. They're fun to watch.
Did you watch the USA-Canada game?
I did not.
That was a lot of people watched it.
That
was really interesting and quite a good game.
Yes.
Good.
So, I mean, we lost.
Canada.
Yeah, I was about to say we lost, I know.
But wow, what a good game.
Yeah.
Good for hockey.
We have some great American hockey players.
We do.
I try to remind my Canadian family of this. I'm like, there are really good American hockey players too. I'm just saying.
They don't believe you.
We have half of our nation is cold.
Yeah.
So Minnesota, it's like right up there close to you guys. Washington, like some of those states. So, but we have good hockey players here, and hockey is where it's at right now. So I'm watching hockey, not watching NBA anymore. I'm done. I'm probably gonna fill out a bracket for March Madness. I typically do.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen how.
And I'm not real into it, so it will be pretty much a potluck. I don't know. I don't really have a favorite. I don't know who I think. You guys maybe keep up a little bit more. I've really fallen behind on everything that I normally am. This time of year, I'm really into it.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, okay, I've got this team looks really good. And I'm usually pretty good guess, but no, I don't even know. It's going to be a total, and that may be the best thing ever. Maybe I'll just.
I was about to say, but the thing about it is you'll be able to. You'll probably be at home for a lot of the games if you're watching kids or if you're not working, of course.
Yeah,
but I mean,
if
you got baby stuff going on, because they have games like all night long.
She's gonna like basketball. I have a feeling.
So if you want to watch some basketball, let's watch March Madness instead of the NBA right now.
Right.
MLB spring training is happening, Tim.
Yeah.
Rangers are looking good.
They I kind of expected last year. I didn't really expect
we were tired.
That we were we just looked. Now I think we kind of refocused, got some stuff. I'm hoping. I got a hope for a much better season. Maybe not another World Series win. I wouldn't stretch it that far, but I could see us pulling off some big wins and maybe being a good team.
Jacob deGrom.
Yeah,
if he can stay healthy. And our rotation is really good. We got Nathan Eovaldi back.
Yeah.
Our rotation is solid, and we have some backup guys just in case they get hurt. So I'm feeling good about the rotation.
We're not as thin as we were last year.
No.
Yeah, last year was the first person that got hurt. We just had nobody to replace
anybody.
Now
we traded Nathaniel Lowe, which really hurt me because I liked him a lot. Adolis Garcia too is injured, but should be healthy for opening day.
I think so.
I think it's like a pulled hamstring or something like that. Not like just minor. Like they did like a
what if
scan
you had to put a early bet on any early season, who do you think is gonna be good no matter what?
Dodgers,
yeah.
I mean, golly, the Dodgers. I mean, they only got better.
Right.
They only got better. They won the World Series last year, Tim. They only got better.
And they look pretty good.
Yes.
I agree.
So,
Yankees look okay.
Yeah, but they lost they lost Juan Soto. So, I mean, that was a big hit to them.
It was.
Even with the pickups that they made. So, the Mets.
The Reds.
The Mets. I would take the Mets over the Yankees at this point. So, Mets.
It's early, but you never know. Good long season.
Yeah, so, trying to think of who else.
We got to go to a baseball game this year.
The AL West, Houston lost. They lost like Bregman. So, I don't know if they're going to be as good. Seattle wasn't bad last year.
That's what I would think.
I mean, Oakland is probably going to be terrible. The Angels will probably be terrible. And I like Ron Washington, but the Angels are probably going to be terrible. I mean, I feel like we have a really good chance to win the division. Not saying we will, but I think we have a really good chance. So if we win the division, the rest is gravy to me always. So if we can, in the postseason, we can make a run, I'm good with that.
So you're going to be watching the NFL draft? Is that this Sunday?
No, I thought it was
coming up
it's
soon,
April,
right?
I thought.
Okay.
I thought they're already talking about it.
Yeah.
They're already talking about it, but I don't think it's till April.
Okay, it's going a little ways off.
Yeah. So, but they're already talking about it. Now, the big news in WWE world, Tim,
Okay.
was that John Cena went heel.
Yeah,
He went
did.
bad guy. Okay. Now my kids understand that wrestling is just a story,
Right.
and they realize that The Rock is not really a bad guy.
Okay.
Okay. They know The Rock is a good guy, right?
Yeah.
They realize this. And they know that John Cena is a really good guy,
Okay.
even though he turned bad.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you
They
know, so
get
my
it.
kids get that. But I did get on X and watch all the clips of these young kids
Mhm.
just having like massive breakdowns because John Cena went bad, right?
Mhm.
So, but the way they did it was
Good
pretty
storyline.
interesting.
Keep you
Right,
watching.
exactly. So, you know, The Rock asked for Cody Rhodes' soul, Tim.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
And Cody said he would not give The Rock his soul. Basically, Rock was like, if you give me your soul, I'll give you whatever you want. I'll put you in movies. I'll give you every nice
Okay.
car.
Like he's the devil.
Right, exactly. You won't ever have to defend the title because I own the company, and you'll just be the champion.
Yeah.
You don't have to defend it. Okay, so he gave him all this, right? Like this is the whole
offered
whole
him the
story.
world.
Offered him the world. Cody Rhodes said because he's
No.
the good guy.
All
No. Okay, Cena's applauding. And all of a sudden you see Cena hug Cody, and you see The Rock do this little throat slit thing, and Cena just kicks Cody where the sun don't shine, and that's the beginning of the end for Cena. So Cena's a bad guy, which he's never really been a bad guy, which is very interesting. So it made huge news. It was like covered by ESPN. It was like all over X. Did you see it? Probably on all your feeds.
I
Like,
did.
seeing
That's
people don't
awesome
watch
clips.
wrestling are watching this. So yeah, YouTube Punk said Devil Rock. Yes, like the
Yeah.
Devil Rock. Yes. But here's the thing: The Rock is a fantastic bad guy.
Yes.
He really is. And
He
so,
can
and
play.
like WrestleMania season, like if you don't watch pro wrestling, like now is the time to watch. From now until WrestleMania is like the most exciting time. So, what makes a good guy, Tim, in any story? A good bad guy.
Right.
It's always what you have to
Right.
remember. What makes a good guy?
Somebody
a
that's
good bad
villain.
guy. Karate Kid. We're talking about Cobra Kai.
Right.
What made the Karate Kid so good? It wasn't Johnny.
Right.
It was Kreese.
Kreese, yeah.
Kreese is an awesome bad guy. Oh my goodness. He's like
Yeah.
like the kind of bad guy you just want to punch in the face, right?
But we can segue right into it.
Yep. That's what I'm trying to do.
I was gonna say-
Real quick, YouTube Punk says Cena has done more Make-A-Wish Foundation visits than anyone. Yes. And so they're
Okay.
talking this new collaboration with him in The Rock, I think, is going to become Break-A-Wish.
Oh.
Break-A-Wish. So, in fact, WWE already put the copyright on that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they start using it. So let's go ahead and segue into TV shows, movies, and all that good stuff. And Tim, this was the last 5 episodes of Cobra Kai ever. Okay.
So they say.
So I mean, I think
I
that
think so.
finishes
It's
Cobra
kinda
Kai.
right.
Yeah,
It's
they
kinda
wrapped
wrapped
everything.
up.
So here's the things I liked. They wrapped up every loose end.
Yeah.
Everything, and they even gave a redemption arc to Kreese.
Yes.
Okay, spoiler.
Let's
Sorry.
say spoiler alert.
Yeah.
If you didn't see
Spoiler.
the Kreese and Johnny, it's like, man, it's like,
Oh, it's awesome.
it's just that was a awesome.
There's
scene.
like a 10-minute kind of confrontation between the two of them that is fantastic.
Yeah. That
I mean, it's
scene-
like you've waited years for that.
right.
You know.
It was good.
So I mean, John Kreese, spoiler alert, has a redemption arc in this story,
Uh-huh.
which is amazing. So he actually becomes a good guy.
Kind
Right?
of. Yeah.
He really does. So he redeems himself.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. If you
Spoiler.
haven't watched it,
Spoiler.
shut off now.
That's right.
That was really good though. It was.
yeah.
Did you guys like it?
They wrapped up every loose end.
Maybe one of my favorite shows of all time now. It's just I mean, it's like Star Wars and Karate Kid. You
Yeah.
know, Cobra Kai. It was like-
Johnny gets a redemption arc. I don't want to. I'll tell you. I'll tell you just in general terms.
Yeah.
But spoiler. I mean, you probably figured all this stuff because I mean that's kind of the whole point of Cobra Kai.
Right.
I mean, from the beginning, the whole point of it was to give Johnny a redemption arc. I feel like.
Yeah.
If you even watched like the first 2 episodes, you figured that out. So like the everything is great. Like they did it perfectly, and I'm so excited to see Karate Kid Legends. You know what that is?
Mhm.
The movie with Jackie
Yep,
Chan and
coming
Ralph
up.
Macchio that's coming up. It happens 2 years after Cobra Kai.
Okay.
And the Cobra Kai producers talked with the filmmakers to make sure that it would be
Everything kinda
cohesive.
Cares, yeah.
Right, so it kind of carries over. So Daniel carries into
It
Legends with
kind
that
of hints with that, like it's like he's saying in Cobra Kai, it's always going to be a part of me. I'm just going to give into it. His wife is like, quit fighting it. You're a karate instructor. That's what you are. You
Right.
know, you might sell cars, but you are what you are. You're Mr. Miyagi.
Right.
You know?
And so I'm looking forward to watching Legends. We may have to go. We may
Oh,
we'll go to the
that'll
movie together.
That'll be great.
We'll go see it.
We
So
gotta go.
Karate Kid Legends comes out this summer. Very much looking forward to that.
Gotta
Karate
go.
Kid was fantastic. The entire ride was awesome. I highly recommend it. Go back through, watch all of it. Tim, I might even watch from the beginning again. It was so good.
I thought about that.
I mean, and I can't wait till my kids are old enough to watch like all the movies
really
and then
get
have it lead up, everything lead up. It's amazing. It's like MCU level, like, story exposition. It's amazing.
Yes.
So, but it was so much fun. I can't recommend it enough. Go to Netflix, watch it all, and just have a great time with it. So, yeah, and then we both watched the end of the Beast Games, which we talked about last time, and I mean, it was what it was.
Right.
So I mean,
quite a surprise. I mean, not a surprise on who won,
right?
But how they got there.
Yes, for sure.
And that's what he's masterful at, right? Throwing kinks in the armor and stuff, and the last final game and stuff. If you haven't watched it, we won't spoil everything for you. Just watch it. I'm kind of almost. And that's weird to go back and watch a show you know the ending to. Right. But I kind of want to go back and watch it some. Yeah. I don't know. I may do it. Just because I really enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Yep. It just kind of got really hooked. I was waiting on Thursday night every week to see the end. And I hope to see a version 2. I think there will be, but I don't know. There's been so much, I don't know. We'll see. I bet. It costs, I'd say it cost a lot to make, but I think they said, I saw the budget for is like $100 million. That's less than the Lord of the Rings show that Amazon made. Like, that's like, I think the Lord of the Rings show for one season was $500 million. I mean, $100 million doesn't seem like that much. Well, I know there are probably going to be some lawsuits and some stupid stuff like that, but at the same time, I liked it. It was cool. Yep. It got me really kind of wanting to watch some game shows again. Yeah, and you were saying that you're watching The Floor. The Floor. I like The Floor. Yeah. I think it's just. Well, I think it's cool because I'm thinking, man, what if we were on there? We could be like classic arcade games or something. Exactly. See if anybody would want to challenge us. Yeah, I was about to say the problem is you get some. You have to be an expert. Like if you beat somebody at their category, that's your new category. But you could also bluff, right? And come up with a category nobody wants to challenge you in when you may not even know much. We're talking about yourself. The Floor, and people have no idea who haven't seen it. The Floor is a game show where you basically there's a big floor, everybody has a square, and the idea is to challenge other people at what they're strong at and take their spots on the floor. But the only way you can take their spot is by challenging them at their area of expertise. So like us, we might have arcade games, classic arcade games. And to take our square, somebody would have to challenge us and do that. But to take somebody else's square, you have to challenge them at their area. And it may be gardening or something that I'm not very good at. But to take their square, I would have to challenge them in something they're good at. And if you lose, they get your square. The Floor on Hulu on Fox. It's on Fox, yeah. And what's his name is the host? Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe, yes. Yeah. The guy who never ages. Right. Yeah. Okay. You're talking about Thursday nights on Amazon Prime. I have another thing you should be watching Thursday nights on Amazon Prime. What's that? Invincible. Oh, haven't seen it yet. It's a superhero cartoon. Okay. Very over-the-top violent, very adult. This is an adult-style cartoon. Okay. But Invincible is fantastic. And the voice cast is amazing. And this season has been really good. You need to go back and watch previous seasons if you haven't seen them already. Okay. But Invincible is really good if you like kind of that comic booky style. I mean, it's basically a cartoon comic books. I mean, it's based on a comic book series. Okay. So, but I'm really enjoying Invincible. It's really good. I just finished up on Netflix, Tim, Apple Cider Vinegar. Do you know what that is? Is that the Is it a documentary? It's not a documentary. I don't know what it is. But I've seen it, but I don't know what it is. It's based on a true story about this girl in Australia who became this famous influencer. Yeah. Who lied about her cancer. Okay. It's based on it. But it is not. It's not a documentary. Okay. Okay, based on it. I want to see it. Yeah. I finished it up. It is disturbing. Well, and here's what it comes down to: people looking for hope in things that, like, they don't get the answer they want from the standard medical establishment. Mm-hmm. So they try looking out for alternatives, and more often than not, the alternatives fail. Okay, that's the story. Okay. So. And people lie that things help them. And so the main character lady is based on a true story. She is a woman. I'm not going to spoil. I mean, I'm spoiling it, but I mean, it's news. Right. She was a woman that started this app called The Whole Pantry. Said that she got rid of her cancer by eating healthy. Turned out she never had cancer. And so, pretty easy to get rid of something you don't have. Right, exactly. So, okay. YouTube Punk also says Reacher on Amazon Prime. Yeah. Reacher I've heard is good. I've not watched it. I've heard the same thing and have not watched it yet, but my son likes it. Landon loves it and says it's good. He's like, you would like it. So
Now,
knows me.
I did the meme I did for this month's live show was Severance. Tim, have
Okay,
you seen
yes.
Severance?
I have not.
Okay.
I don't have Apple TV, so.
The first season I think is on Roku, like their free whatever the Roku
Okay.
TV app. So if you want to watch the first season,
I do have a Roku
the
TV.
first season of Severance is slow. I mean,
Okay.
you're talking about you don't learn anything for 8 episodes.
Wow.
Like it's not till you
Hard
get to
to-
the end that you're like. But now here's the thing: once you get to the end, it's a cliffhanger and you're hooked.
Okay.
Okay. The first season of Severance is slow. This season of Severance, now that you know what's going
Nonstop.
on, yeah,
Okay.
you're like, okay, I'm locked in now.
Okay.
Because I get it. Now Ben Stiller is the producer on this.
Okay.
Okay, but it's not really a comedy, and it's got some really famous actors in it.
Okay.
Okay, so in the first season you had golly, you had all sorts. John Turturro, you had Christopher Walken.
Mhm.
I mean, there are some actors in this thing, like you know. So, but the first season is a slow burn. It's worth your time. The second season has been great so far. Tim, something started last night or 2 nights ago, Tuesday.
Okay.
Daredevil Born Again on Disney.
Right.
So if you watch the Daredevil on Netflix,
Sure.
this is a direct
Goes
connection.
right into it. Okay.
Goes right into it. So same characters, everything.
Oh, I like it then.
It's very good so
Okay.
far. There's some surprises. I'm not going to spoil those because it's very new at this point. So, but so far I'm liking it. It's only 2 episodes, so worth your time. And then Tim, we're going to be watching The Righteous Gemstones on Max. The last season comes out this month. Have you seen The Righteous Gemstones?
I have seen 1 or 2 episodes.
Oh, it's
and
hilarious.
I kind of got lost of where I was watching
It's
it.
a televangelist. It's
Yeah,
like
family
it's a spoof of televangelism, basically.
Okay.
The Righteous Gemstones, and it is funny as all get out.
Okay. What I saw was funny.
Yeah, so you should watch, and it's ridiculous, and you should be watching it just because this is the final season, and it's crazy. So, John Goodman's in it,
Okay.
and there's several other actors too that are in it that you'll recognize. So, The Righteous Gemstones, I'm looking forward to the last season. YouTube Punk says Daredevil. Yes, Daredevil, and I feel like the Netflix show and this reboot of Daredevil get the Daredevil character right.
Mm-hmm.
Gritty, like, just like poor pro bono lawyer guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like the Ben Affleck version was too clean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like the grittiness and the dirtiness of the Netflix Daredevil. And Charlie Cox is amazing. The guy who plays Daredevil, awesome.
Okay.
YouTube Punk says John Goodman is a great actor. He is. Love John Goodman. So I watched Roseanne when I was a kid. Like we watched that all the
Of
time.
course. Who
My
didn't?
yeah, exactly. My family loved that show. So lawyer with an attitude. Yes, that's what I like about Daredevil. Gritty. I like the darkness of it all and everything like that. So okay, anything else?
No,
you got?
it's after 8 o'clock. We
Okay.
probably need to wrap up.
Okay.
And just because I need to get home and get in bed, but I enjoyed it. It was a good show tonight. We
It
enjoyed
was,
the after
yeah, it
show.
was
Enjoyed
good.
you guys being here. Those of you who stuck with us this long, thank you. You don't
Yeah.
no award for it, but you deserve one.
So I mentioned it in the live show, but I also mentioned it here in the after show that our next episode is April 3rd, which is the day before my birthday. On my birthday, Minecraft the movie comes out. So I think we're going to
Nice.
go take
Oh, how
that
fun.
in and just kind of hang out and do all that. So April 3rd will be the next live show unless something happens. So I'm hoping nothing happens in between now and then. I hope maybe Tim can get 4 hours of sleep between
Maybe.
now and then as well.
That
So-
would be a good goal.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Take care. We hope you all have a wonderful month of March, and we look forward to hearing back from you in April. And again, I did want to remind everybody, if you want to leave your 100th episode celebration stuff, you can call our voicemail line at 972-827-8477. You can leave it there. Send us a video.
Text it.
Send us a text to the same number, or you can email us. We'd love to get those in. We'll read those and feature those on the 100th episode here in a couple of months. So
Okay.
there we go. Okay. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. See you soon.
Good night.
Thanks for being here.
Mhm.
And I'm going to hit the button now. Right?
Yep, we're
Okay,
out.
are we sure? Okay.